You are about to witness history in the making.
Hello and welcome to another Pop Culture Gamers podcast. I'm Steve, your host for this evening, or actually it could be morning if you're listening to it later. Obviously Haydn's with me. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing okay, thanks, Steve.
Good. So it's been a hot day today. I don't know about anyone else, but us gamers have to go out sometimes and get some fresh air.
Yeah, it's really hard to see your screen though from outside.
Oh yeah, that's what. You can't even see your own phone screen in that bright light, let alone anything else bigger than that. But yeah.
No, what I was meaning was when I look through my patio doors, because they're at the opposite side of the house, trying to see the TV is just too small.
No, that's just you got to have some fresh air, just walk away from the TV for a few hours, just get some fresh air, get some exercise. So you're fresher then for the next late night session that you're going to be doing, isn't it?
I suppose, yeah, because isn't it vitamin B or something that your body produces when you're in sunlight?
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, so it's been a while since we've done the last show. Even this is episode 10, believe it or not, but it feels like it's about episode 2 because I think with all the ups and downs we've had, I've lost track of where we are. Yeah,
well, we've just had our special, which was a Star Wars one, so if you haven't already checked it out, check it out. And it's just been an awkward month, hasn't it, with one thing and another. That kicked off with you weren't very well, then you were on 24-hour night duty, weren't you? So it was just one of them things.
And then you had your eye as well, so...
Yeah, because it wasn't conjunctivitis, it was iritis. And if that gets any worse, then you can get glaucoma and all sorts, evidently.
Excuse me.
So it was a bit more serious than I thought.
Yeah,
I'm still having to take eye drops.
Do you? Because that's just dreadful.
No, exactly. So narrow miss there, but I did have to go to hospital to get it sorted out in the end.
So,
and I'm on drops in my eye for the next 6 weeks.
So let's move swiftly on. As we normally swap over and how we work, I'll let you bring your intro in first.
Well, it's a bit hard to try and think about what's actually happened because it does feel like so long since we last recorded a normal show. So I was in the process of getting a new bathroom floor because of some water damage that I've had. Well, that bathroom floor is now installed. I don't have any lino or anything on it as of yet because I'm waiting for that to come. But also we've had the ceiling downstairs where the water damage was replastered and got rid of the Artex that was on the ceiling as well, which I'm very glad about because I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really all that's happened there. I started also, as you know, I do teaching on an evening. So I've started doing a bit more of that. So I'm teaching 2 nights a week at the moment. Teaching, funnily enough, podcasting as one of my courses. And also teaching a variety of different, it's like a course of 10 one-off courses, if you see what I mean. So it's like introduction to an iPad, welcome to Windows. So this is social media.
So where do you do this? You do this at the college, yeah?
No, I do the podcasting course. I work for Rossett Academy.
Right.
For their adult learning and teach there. So that's where I'm doing the podcasting one. That's also where I teach digital photography and Photoshop as well.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching YouTube next month. But I also work for the Adult Learning and Skills Service for the local authority.
I see. Okay.
So that can be anywhere. So, for example, I've they came to me and said, we need someone to do this course. I said, right, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I just had to design the course, write the content and everything, and then, deliver it, basically.
Because is it free for the people to attend then?
This course is. The 10-week one is. The other one, it costs people money to actually pay because it's not, not a government-sponsored thing. Russet is, an academy. It's effectively a profit-making organisation, or in theory is. But as long as the courses are cost-neutral, they'll run them.
Yeah.
Then, everybody's happy because, and also it's a thriving community because adult learning, it's a funny old game is adult learning, because when I started teaching in 2005, it was, I could have given up my day job and earned more money doing adult teaching. But because, a lot of that was through the local authority, and then the government started to change the way of, adult learning courses, the bottom dropped out of the market entirely. When they stopped doing the learning for leisure sort of courses, which people wanted, people want to do things like pottery and knitting and Photoshop and digital photography and things like that. But I don't know what it was, but the funding went for all of that, and it ended up that all of those sort of courses that I was delivering stopped happening. I diversified onto teaching was known as the Petals course, which is preparing to teach in a lifelong learning sector. Basically, I was teaching people how to teach. Okay. As my role. But I also taught the European computer driving license, if you remember hearing about that from years ago. So, I'm an advanced, ECDL sort of, in terms of my abilities, and just passed that on to other people. So, but, I actually started teaching ECDL. That was my first course that I was doing, which was at Russet. But ironically, it was at Russet, but I worked for Leeds Metropolitan University in delivering it.
Right.
So it's very sort of complicated and whatever, but I've been doing it for like 13 years.
Ah, cool. But then, if could you hear Yoda in the background just then?
A little bit.
So I do apologise, but he's a bit fussy with the weather at the moment. If someone walks past or there's a car he can hear, he just seems to want to attack it at the moment, but I do apologise for that.
Well, that's dogs, isn't it, for you?
Oh, yeah. So, anything else?
Also, don't forget, this month is Zombie Awareness Month. So, this is the time of year where you brush up on your planning for when the forthcoming zombie apocalypse comes, so make sure you watch plenty of zombie TV and movies so that you know what to do, and play zombie video games as well. Hence why I've been playing Dead Rising 3 and 4.
Oh, okay, because we've got State of Decay 2 coming out end of this week, haven't we?
We have indeed, yeah.
And on the movie side, they've just given the green light for Zombieland 2. Yep,
I have.
So it's all in the same sort of Zombie Awareness Month. Whether that is just coincidental, I don't know.
But it's amazing the type of things that you actually have awareness days, weeks, or months for.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like there's National Chocolate Day.
I know. I mean, we don't
coming this month.
We don't hear about them other until we hear about on the same days from Facebook or Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, with my work, I'm trying to coordinate in terms of getting the message out there for safeguarding children and young people.
Right.
Where there is a awareness day that we promote it to raise the awareness for a particular issue. And as I was going through the list, because I found a website that tells you all of the,
the weird and wonderful
awareness, yeah. And it is weird and wonderful. Some of the stuff that's in there, like National Ironing Day and stuff like that.
Who makes this up? Honestly, there's some idiot in an office somewhere.
Well, I don't know, to be quite honest, because some of them are international days as well. So it's more than just some kook in an office somewhere in England that's made it up.
It just sounds so.
Yeah, but
so
I mean,
crazy.
have you? Because actually, ironing's an interesting thing because did you know that extreme? There's an extreme sport of extreme ironing. Seriously?
No, honestly, I just couldn't imagine. There must be a health and safety warning for that.
Well, yeah, because it was on. Well, it was something I came across on the internet, but it's amazing some of the stuff that people do. You know, like ironing on the top of a mountain. Whatever floats your boat.
Well, there's a lot worse can be happening in the world than doing that, isn't there?
That is very true.
So, what's your gaming this week? As I can probably guess a little bit of it personally, but
well, seeing as that we've been in the same fire team as well, and
excuse
so
me.
everybody else will be able to guess what that is as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to talk about a few of them. So I've been obviously playing Destiny 2 with yourself. I've played Quiplash, which I'll talk about. Planet of the Apes: Last Frontier.
Yeah.
Which is hence why I was watching a Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes movie today.
Yeah. Okay.
And God of War.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't gone back to that yet. To be honest, it's gonna be
Crime.
I know
crime.
it is crime. It is a crime. But then I've got Detroit Most Human to come in. The post come. What is it? Friday.
Is it out this week? Yeah, it is out this week, isn't it? Yeah.
So really, that it is what it is.
It is. Yeah.
So okay, cool. So shall I?
Yeah, what's been happening with you?
So obviously, I'm going to go back as far as the bank holiday weekend, which I think it seems like ages ago. And even though we got another bank holiday coming this weekend as well.
Yes.
So either end of May. So as some of you are aware, we took a weekend break to Norwich to see my daughters move in with her husband as they moved away from where we are down in sort of Christchurch, Bournemouth. So they moved up a week before then. We'd gone up there for a few days to chill out, have a look at the city, because good food and drink, and really enjoyed it. The city's really nice. There's a big cathedral there. Just overall a nice place. I think we've even got some community members that live out that way. And
did you hunt any of them down?
I think it might have been Nicky, so no disrespect, Nicky, no. Been so busy, but yeah, he lives. I think he lives in Norwich actually.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. So, but it was a hell of a drive. It took me probably about 5 hours, including stops.
Yeah, why is it? I can't. I've never got my head around this. In this country, you can get north to south generally relatively quickly. It's like it took me 4.5 hours to get to you.
Yeah.
Whereas going across the country, which is a shorter distance, takes an awful lot longer.
Well, I had to negotiate the M27, the M3, the M25, and then after that.
But was the M25 a blockage though?
There was an accident, by the way, at the time, wasn't it?
All right, okay.
But when you get off that and you're going across, sort of to the right at an angle, you're going up towards the excuse my French, we've got the arse end of the UK sticking out. You're going up to there.
Yeah.
But there's no motorways. It's just A roads. So you've got every lorry, Tom, Dick and Harry going in them, and you just take it as it comes.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
What is good though is that Norwich does have an airport, and they're scheduled to do a direct route from Bournemouth on I think it's probably early next year. So if we ever to go and visit them again, which I'm sure we will do, it'd be nice just to drive 15 minutes up the road, pop on a plane, and be there in half the time.
Well, I mean, it is amazing how quick flight is in comparison. To driving. I mean, flying down to Southampton from Teesside, which is further north than where I am, is about 45 minutes. Yeah.
And even at the moment, if I was to go to, say, Norwich Airport, I'd have to go from Bournemouth to Manchester, Manchester to Norwich. and it's still quicker. But you're going.
What's the trains like?
Oh, they're okay, but I just,
Yeah. Yeah, because there isn't... I think the problem with trains is, unless you're actually going to be stopping in the place where you arrive at, they're not as convenient and generally take about as much time as a car.
Yeah, and there's more actual physical stops as well, and also changes to do. So, you get on a plane, you go there. I mean, all right, at the moment there's a stop at Manchester, but when we got the direct flight to Norwich, it'd be just great. Just pop on a plane, 45 minutes or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I must admit, though, I think the longest travel I've ever had to do was from Swansea to home. And I was on the train as well, which made it worse. Because I'd actually been at DVLA doing a presentation there for previous employers.
Yeah.
It was more because it was where the Home Office could get this, a big enough place to do a presentation in the area.
Yeah.
But we travelled and we had to go via Manchester, so we had to go up one side of the country and then across and up. And it was an absolute nightmare. There was something like about 20 stops on the route from Swansea to Manchester Piccadilly. And that was halfway back. And it took 5 hours to do that on the train.
Yeah.
It was awful. And it was summer. It was boiling hot. I had loads of bags and stuff like that. And it was a real chug-a-boom.
You haven't got your own space on a train, if you know what I mean.
No, exactly. And because anybody can come and sit next to you. I mean, I was with somebody, so, but... people sat in our reserve seats and wouldn't shift. There was no guard, walking up and down. I think, it was such a crowded, I mean, honestly, it looked more like, I was travelling on a World War II Polish train. Do you know what I mean? The way that, I'm sure that there was a goat at the one end of it.
Did you have a lot of people sitting on the roof as well?
It felt like that. It really did. It was an awful train. It was it's the worst train journey I've ever had in my entire life.
Yeah.
And, I remember when I'd booked the travel, I'd said, hire me a car. And my admin officer just hired me, got me a train ticket. And I was like, I can't be bothered to argue. I really wish I had. Because it was awful. It was really awful.
I think my longest journey is probably about 20 hours.
Yeah,
that was a flight to Japan, but
that's a long way.
that was just but yes, that weren't short of going to Australia, and Australia is about a day, I think, 24 hours.
It is, because you stop off at Singapore, don't you?
I did the same thing. I stopped. I think I stopped at either Singapore or Seoul. I'm not sure where now, and then had another flight with locals in a smaller plane. Which you think you'd have people like carrying chickens and stuff like that. It was that sort of...
Yeah.
That Indiana Jones moment, do you know what I mean?
Did I tell you I almost went for a job in Seoul?
Did you really?
I thought it'd be a good career move.
Yeah. But...
And there goes the tumbleweed.
Anyway, shall we go? So something else I've done, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of stick for this. I picked up a second-hand Xbox 360.
I know you've got good reason.
I've got good. I don't know where you. Well, you see, I got a Kinect as well, and people are now seething. I can feel the evil eyes burrowing into my skull at the moment when I say that. But I say before you shoot me down in flames, there is a good reason.
You wanted to play Star Wars Kinect.
I wanted to do. Was it Star Wars dancing? Excuse me. So, as you know, I've been working on losing my weight over the last of this year, and just basically to better myself as well as to look after my knee. And I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I've looked at the photograph when I met you, and compared to now, you can see there's a big change. So it's going in the right direction. And also recently, we picked up a Ninja food processor and blender. Yes, which we're using. Not just we actually needed some new ones anyway, but this can really process and blend for shapes and stuff like that. The wife uses and so on and so forth.
Mm.
And the only thing that I'm really missing is really doing some sort of exercise that I can do. Now I've got an exercise bike, but with my knee at the minute, it's not really wise. So I just want to do some cardio exercise using the top half of my body.
Yeah.
And I remembered back in the day, probably when I first met the missus, there was a certain game from Ubisoft called Your Shape Fitness Evolved. Now, do you remember it?
Yes.
And
I do.
They brought
because I've got it.
You've got it. There you go. And they brought 2 versions of the game out. So we pinched a copy from my daughter in Norwich.
Yeah.
And I think I'd look at it, and I think it was the one I remember the most. So when you got your jellified body on the screen, you can punch blocks, kick blocks, and stuff like that. If you remember right, if you remember doing that.
Yeah.
And I did use it quite a lot, and obviously it gives you a calorie count you're doing. So it would be nice to.
And you get achievements for losing weight as well.
Exactly, you're burning calories and you're earning achievements at the same time. So I need to lose some more weight, and also I'm still progressing with it. You have the odd hiccup every now and then, but when I went to Norwich, blimey, I had some food and a half there. But you treat yourself, and then you get back on it. Get off the horse, go back on it, and crack on. So yeah, it's really good. So I set the box up in my room first of all. We just got it working on the old Wi-Fi, and I forgot. Because I completely forgot about this, and I just put the box in the bottom with no cables at the minute, like you do with IKEA. They like to just put a box there and think no wires work with it. And I realised that my TV hasn't got enough inputs. And really, the only place to use this with the Kinect will be in the lounge. So I thought, bugger.
Why can't you do it in your...
It's a
man cave?
Well, it's just the design of where the TV is and everything.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it, and so is the wife as well. So she's banned from this room anyway. So I thought the only best place to do it if I put it in there. So I looked on Amazon, and I picked up a 4K splitter. So. Okay, sorry. I'll talk about that in a minute with the missus, but then I'll be able to blend that out. So I picked up one. I was just looking around, seeing what was available, and I found something called a HDMI switch, 4K Garner gold-plated 3-port HDMI. Right. And so that's 3 in and 1 to the TV. So it was normally about $12.99 to $6.99 on Prime. So I thought, well, let's just give that a go. I've got to try something. So while I had some family members over this afternoon, and she kept looking at me, why you keep looking at your phone? I've got a delivery. It's now 6 stops away. Leave me alone. So picked it up. So I plugged it into I've been watching a bit of the Formula 1 this afternoon at one point, just chilling out, and took the Sky out, plugged that in. Put the Sky into port 1, put the Xbox 360 into port 2. Now this doesn't come with any power leads. It powers up via the sort of the PoE on the HDMI itself. So as soon as I plugged them in, the stuff's alive, the buttons there, all light up, and I could switch between the 2 ports I was using, and no real problem at all with it. The Sky signal was brilliant. Pop over to the grainy looking Xbox 360, because that obviously these days looks a bit ropey, doesn't it? On the UI. But it works well. So I've just got to set the Kinect up next and go from there, really, and we'll see how it goes.
Did you not think of getting one of the fitness apps on the Xbox One?
Well, that would be if I had one that had a Kinect.
You can pick up a Kinect for £25 though, can't you?
But is the fitness app still on it?
Yeah.
I'll look into that, because
I think if you've downloaded it, you can still access it, can't you?
I don't know. I did actually download it to have a little nose. But what I do know is that even myself and the missus actually worked well with that Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
And all this sort of things you're doing, it just worked well, and you could just, you knew what you were doing, and so I will stick with that for the minute. Well, I'll have a look into that, but I think I'll be happy with just having the 360 doing it for the now, and see how it goes from there. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Tech Talk we'll talk about a bit later. And
yes, because you've got something to talk about.
Yeah, so I've got lots of stuff. We got a load of big lists now, haven't we, to add to these shows?
We have.
But I thought as something came out, I played Halo last night, and we'll talk about the reason why I was playing Halo.
Yeah, it puzzled me. To be honest, I was thinking, what?
I know, and I got an achievement. I was actually flicking. Because we need to go back to that actually.
We need to do the Halo Master Chief Collection.
Now, what I think is going to be pretty cool is there's something that's not been bandied about with E3. I know we got some chat on that in the questions a bit later.
Yeah.
But I have a sneaky suspicion that we're going to get the 4K upgrade. E3.
On the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, I think they're going to... It is in the works. It has been talked about. But I'm hoping that's probably something they're going to announce at the show.
Well, to be honest, it's a no-brainer win, isn't it, really?
Oh, absolutely. And they're still great games.
Yes.
I mean, I'll talk about briefly about the Halo, but yeah, as you know, they're still classic games, I think, and I still get a bit of buzz from them. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And to be honest, I would like to go through and complete the story on them.
Yeah, before they release the next one.
Yeah.
So as you rightly said, gaming this week has really been for me. It's been one game, which begins with D, and I've been hammering.
Why have you been playing Diablo?
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So Destiny 2 and Warmind. I've been playing that constantly all week. I know you had a bit of a break and you've been a bit busy, so we've both been split apart. Well,
not only that, but I forgot to mention, I've also activated, the Game Pass as well.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, because I thought, State of Decay 2's coming out. Sea of Thieves is on there.
Yeah, is State of Decay 2 going to be co-op play?
Yes, I think it is up to 4 people, if I remember rightly.
So we could give it a go together.
Yeah.
So I know someone that's already playing it already on Twitter, and I think she's got a copy. I don't know if it's early or what, but she's been playing that. So I think the actual release date is end of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, there's quite a few people already got it though, which is quite amazing.
Yeah, whether or not they're reviewing it or not, I don't know. But actually, so the 22nd is coming out, isn't it? So
yeah,
that's Tuesday. So that means we could get a bit of that in before Detroit Most Human on Friday.
Indeed.
So, but yeah. So I have got to do a chore. So would you like to do the new releases?
I'll do the new releases.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Okay, well, I'm back anyway, and Haydn, you've waited for me, so would you like to roll off the new releases?
I certainly will. So, new releases for this coming week. So we're going to do it up until the end of the month now. So, we've got on the 22nd, Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition on PS4 and Xbox One. Stardew Valley Digital on the Vita, 22nd to the 5th. We've got Super Chariot on the Switch on the 18th of the 5th. That seems to be a bit out of sync. State of Decay 2 is also on the 22nd. Dark Souls Remastered, PC, PS4 and Xbox One on the 25th. Dark Souls Solitaire of Astora Amiibo. Amiibo, put my teeth in, is out on the 25th of the 5th. Detroit Most Human, same date. Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers on the Switch. Sorry, not the Switch, the 3DS. Agony on the PS4 and Xbox One on the 29th. Legend of K Anniversary Edition is on the Switch on the 29th. Moonlighter on the PS4 on the 29th. Owlboy, PS4 and Switch, same date. And Sega Mega Drive Classics, PS4 and Xbox One as well. Oh, sorry, I missed out too. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Can't believe, has that really been going 30 years?
Yeah, I can well imagine.
It does seem to be there forever, but yeah. But anyway, that's out on the PS4, Xbox One, Switch and PC. And then you've got Yoku's Island Express, which is out on the PS4, Xbox One and Switch.
Interesting. A couple there that we'll be interested in. Other than that, I think not too much. But I always was looking at the Sega Mega Drive Classics, but I might wait for that. I don't know how expensive it's going to be.
Yeah.
But maybe, I mean, that something like that could go to Game Pass, couldn't it?
It could do.
Because they have had others on there, like the the one I actually own, which is the one with the Master System stuff and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's another Sega one as well that came out that's on there at the moment. So, okay, so if I do the charts then, so in reverse order. So from 7 up to 5 is Fallout 4. I haven't got a Scooby's why that is. 4 at 4, we've got FIFA 18. 3 at 3, we've got Far Cry 5. Staying at 2, we've got Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. And obviously the number one game, which I think needs no introduction, is God of War.
Yes.
But Fallout 4, why is that there?
Your guess is as good as mine.
I mean, I'm glad to see it there because it's a fantastic game in most of our eyes, other than someone I know. But yeah, that's interesting. Now, whether or not anything to do with E3, maybe?
Possibly. People hoping that there's going to be a Fallout 5.
I know we're going to... I would have thought originally you'd have seen another Elder Scrolls of some kind before that. But we only know one of the games at the moment because Rage was announced, wasn't it? Rage 2.
Yeah, it was.
So, anyway, we'll ramble on again. We'll move into our gaming this week?
Yep.
Okay, so to be honest, as I've only played Destiny, if you want to chat about the games you have played other than, and then we'll put Destiny on the end of it.
Yeah, no problem. So, first game I've played is Middle-earth Shadow of War. Still been playing through the campaign on this one. Really loving this game, to be honest, because it's been ages since I'd played it and then picked it up, obviously, just before we started doing the last show. And just absolutely thoroughly enjoying it. And the great thing was that the season pass was cheap on Games with Gold, deals this week. So I picked that up as well. So I've got the full package now. Really enjoying it. They've brought back the marketplace as well because that had disappeared. But it's back now, which is a bit weird.
What, on the Xbox, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I've not missed it. I mean
on the game. Sorry, the game's got its own marketplace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it had been removed for some time. I think that they'd shut it down, but obviously it seems to have had a bit of a revival in terms of popularity. So they've brought it back.
Yeah, I must admit, I did notice. I know it's going to be a naughty word when I say CEX. But I think both of those were quite cheap actually, and even in their store, disc-wise.
Yeah, I'm
talking like a tenner or something. One of them was.
Well, it's well worth it as a game.
Yeah.
I love it. It takes on, follows on from the story of the last, Shadow of War, which Shadows of Mordor, which let's face it, came from nowhere. It wasn't on anybody's radar, and then this game landed with this Nemesis system, and it was absolutely brilliant. I think probably the thing about this game, though, is there are so many collectibles. I think it'd actually be interesting one of these days for us to have a debate of whether or not collectibles ruin games.
Yeah. Well,
I think that'd be a good debate, actually, because you can argue it either way in some respects. But no, it's really nice, graphics. I've had absolutely no glitches on it at all. It runs absolutely perfectly smooth on both systems.
Yeah.
It looks great. It plays great in that Batman Arkham Knight sort of combat system, and once you get the flow on that combat system, you can absolutely take out lots and lots of, ogres very quickly. I think what is really good, and this was in the original game as well, is that some of the larger, the captains, which are like mini bosses, you have to get intel on them because they can have different strengths and weaknesses. So, for example, some of them you'll be able to vault over and then hit them in the back. Other ones will catch you while you're vaulting over them. Some will die immediately by a stealth attack. Other ones will be able to stop you from hurting them at all by stealth attacking them. Some are vulnerable to long range, some are vulnerable to short range. So, whereas the normal ogres, they're just vulnerable to anything that you throw at them, basically.
Yeah.
And what's also different on this game is that you recruit captains and take over territories, which wasn't in the previous game in the same way.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, I did enjoy playing it when I went to the EGX at the time.
Yeah,
that was my game. That year I went. That was my game of that weekend.
Yeah.
But I never got into it after that.
I think it's a shame. Maybe it's something that you should look at again.
Because how much was it going for, did you say?
Well, I got this for £14 digital copy.
You're right.
On CD keys.
Okay.
And it's since come down.
Yeah, I haven't used CD keys in a while, actually.
Yeah. I always keep an eye out to see if there's anything on there.
Yeah.
But, it's an absolutely gorgeous looking game as well. Some of the, views on it are really quite, that's nice. You know what I mean? And also, it's so into the Lord of the Rings universe that it's the same Gollum as from the movies.
Right, okay. So that's a big plus for people that are really into it.
Yeah, if you're into that Tolkien sort of storyline, and it fits in with the Peter Jackson movies very nicely.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just going to, while you're chatting away, I'm just having a little scout to see if I can find them.
And the music's great on this as well. Very, heavy, oppressive sort of, audio in it as well. Quite dramatic instrument, classical sort of music.
Yeah.
That's in there. So I think you would enjoy it if you gave it a
Shadow of War is $15.99.
Where's that at?
On CD keys.
All right, it's gone up again. I think it was down to about £13.
Well, still, I mean, it's cheaper than it is on probably Microsoft.
They do have a sale on at the moment, though. I think on that.
Yeah. And what was the first one called again?
Shadow of Mordor.
Mordor, that was it. Just going to see if that's in there as well.
That one, I think you'd be able to pick up for £10.
If it's here. Yeah, that might be us having a look. So what other games have you been up to playing? What's this Quiplash then? What's all that about? Right,
well, Quiplash, it's actually one that you might quite enjoy playing when you got family round, to be honest. The Jackbox, you don't know Jack quizzes that you can get on.
Oh, okay,
online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of them. But this one, it's very simple to play. It's not asking you questions in terms of ones where there's a true or false answer. But it's saying things like, you shouldn't play more than $3 for blank. And then you've got to put down what the blank is.
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you with me?
Yeah.
So, and the way that you play it, you have to have at least 3 players which is an unusual number, I thought.
Well, it's sort of in between 2 and 4, and that's normally an odd number, isn't it?
Yeah, but normally, if as long as you've got 2 players, you're all right. But there's no bots or anything like this. But you can also, we could play it together because of the way that it works. Because everything, it goes on your iPad or your tablet. You log onto the website, you put in the code.
Yeah.
And everything comes up on your tablet device, so you don't even need the screen technically.
Oh, okay.
Although I suppose that we could, stream it, because when we've been doing a bit of Mixer recently, it's been streaming straight there without any delay at all.
Right. Okay.
So you can play it that way. But as long as there's 3 of you, it's fine. But you can also get people to have a go from anywhere else as well, which is really good. There's a child-friendly mode, which, because I've been playing with my son, I've been having that switched on, so I haven't actually played the full version. But it's the way that the game works is that you put in whatever answer that you think. So you shouldn't pay more than $3 for I don't know what you might want to pay $3 for.
Okay.
But you could put something quite funny down, as an example, and then everybody else who's in the game votes on your answers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the winner of the round, because there's 3 rounds, is the one who scored the most in that round who gets the most votes.
Yeah, it might be a Christmas game to play there.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking. And I think, if I remember rightly, this one was quite cheap at the moment as well. I think it's in a sale or something.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Worth a check out. Definitely worth a check out.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'm just saying this quickly. So Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year edition is £12.
You can't go wrong on that.
No.
You really can't go wrong on that. That is superb value for money.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of content in there. You're talking about easily 40, 50 hours.
Yeah.
Easy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And also the DLC, the campaign on the DLC is massive as well. It's like a whole new game, just about.
So actually playing that, actually leaving the other one behind for a bit.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at that later now. I've just downloaded it.
Oh, you bought it, have you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm terrible. Absolutely terrible. Anyway.
Okay, so next one I've been playing is Planet of the Apes: Last Frontier.
Yeah, so is this on the PlayStation? Is it available on the Xbox as well?
No, I think it's PlayStation exclusive.
Okay.
So people are going in and out of my house. That's the proximity allowed to the front door that you can hear going in the background.
I'm thinking it's like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, no, we've got a Ring doorbell, so that's what that is.
Is that one of Del Boy's doorbells, is it?
No, it's that one not on the adverts where it says, yes, I've seen you looking through my window, and now I'd like you to leave. That one. So, but it also, it records whenever the motion detection goes on, and it also gives you an audible warning in the house and to your phone wherever you are, which is really cool. So, Planet of the Apes: Last Frontier. This basically it links in with the modern Planet of the Apes movies, and is in the aftermath.
Should we just firstly say this is the reboot movies we're talking about, as in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as in anything after the Mark Wahlberg stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that was sort of like a separate reboot, wasn't it? And then they rebooted it again. So the story is that an ape tribe is hidden in the mountains and trying to keep themselves hidden from humans because humans and apes are fighting each other, as you would expect. It's Planet of the Apes, after all. And following the death of their leader, there's a rise of the leader's son to become the new leader, who is bolder and less frightened about letting the humans know where they are.
Okay.
So that they, he's quite happy to take them on, as it were.
So is this linked to the films exactly?
No, it's in the same world.
Okay, so the ape that was running this group.
It's not Caesar.
It's not Caesar. Okay, right. Just going to check that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different one entirely. And basically, the story is it's winter. There is meagre food available because the Earth's been decimated with the ape-human war.
Yeah.
And as a result, this new leader, who's the brother of the main character that you kind of, direct on the game. And I'm using the word direct for a specific reason, which I'll come on to shortly. He's, his brother is less keen at engaging humans and wants peace, but the main one who takes over the apes following death is a bit of a warmongerer. So they find out that there's cattle and all sorts, in the plains at the bottom of the mountain that they're at, and he's all like, well, don't care, we'll just kill the humans and steal the cattle. And then the other side of it is about the battle of the humans who are trying to survive. There's, some other humans who are like ape hunters, and troublemakers and stuff like this. And you direct both sides of what's going on. And the reason why I'm using the word direct is because this is basically, it's like a Telltale game. Although, believe it or not, there's actually less to do in it than in a Telltale game, because you literally just do the choices of, do you do A or B, or
so is this more,
a couple of quick time things.
Yeah, is this more like with the late shift that we played, where that is literally you're watching what you're watching and you're just directing the story in whichever branch of the story you're going to take it?
It's like that, but with the odd quick time event.
Yeah.
To give an extra branch. So, it's like most of the options will be, do you want to do one or the other? Yeah. And then there'll be, as the story's progressing, a quick time option, which is if you don't press a button within a certain time frame, that event won't happen. Like, for example, an ape running in front of the view that your character has. If you don't press X, it won't shoot the ape and the ape will escape.
Yeah. Which version did you get? Because I've got two. I'm just having a little look, and you've got The Last Frontier, but you've also got the Team Ape bundle.
I just got The Last Frontier. I didn't get the bundle because that just seems to be a load of avatars and stuff like that.
Right, okay. And did you know there's a VR version of something here?
No, I didn't.
Called Crisis on the Planet of the Apes?
I think, isn't that a different...
Yeah, it's a different game. $11.99, just so you're aware.
Yeah, I might invest in that.
Being you're now Mr. VR of this podcast.
Not that I have actually. Well, yes, it is. I've got 2 VR units.
Yeah, one for each eye.
But to be honest, I haven't actually played PSVR since the initial opening.
I'm not going to say anything then. Go on.
Hang on, no. But that is because of iritis. It's not because of not wanting to play the system.
I know we're going a bit off track here, but the only reason I really would want to play one.
Yeah, Star Trek.
But there's an update coming out, don't you?
Is there? For Star Trek? Well, yeah, Next Generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you can play the game without VR still, but
yeah.
It's killing me.
They've made it available, haven't they?
It's killing me.
So you can.
Absolutely killing me.
Well, you'll have to get the non-VR version then.
Yeah, I'm sure that'd be pretty cheap. But yeah. Anyway, so is this a long game, Planet of the Apes?
I would say there's about 5 or 6 acts, and I would say it's about an hour per act, ish, depending upon how quickly you press, and do selections and whatever, and what options you take.
Yeah.
Maybe some might be about half an hour. So
does it have a second playthrough run with this?
Oh yeah, there's at least 3 endings on it.
Okay.
So there's plenty of things for you to have a go at in there, but totally enjoyed the campaign. What I would say though is it's probably not the most action packed of things. Even when there's fighting going on and that, I didn't really feel the vibe, but I enjoyed the story.
Is this like a soap opera then?
It's a bit like, well, it's exactly like watching a film and deciding when it pauses which button you're going to press to play the next tape.
Yeah.
It's like Hidden Agenda.
Well, I love
how that one was.
Hidden Agenda is brilliant.
Yeah, and this is brilliant. And to be honest, the graphics on it are outstanding. Some of it looks actually photorealistic.
Yeah.
But in terms of that as a game, it's it's a little bit slow in parts. Sometimes you just wish that they would just get on with it a bit. A bit like, I think this is one of the problems of this nature of game. The Telltale games, sometimes the middle bits just stretch out a little bit and you just wish that they'd cut some of that fat off. So that's kind of where I am with it.
But well worth it. I mean, do you think this will come as a freebie in the near future?
I don't know, to be honest. Because don't forget, this is a franchise, so they tend to avoid, franchise sort of stuff being released, don't they?
Yeah. Do you think is there any reason why not we could see a sequel to this to carry the story on?
I think you definitely could. I think you definitely could. Whichever way that you end it as well. I mean,
I'm a big Planet of the Apes fan, as you know. Obviously, there's some Planet of the Apes movies I hate compared to others because I just prefer the original. But hey ho. But I just love the way that works and that story. Yes. And actually, funny, I know we're going to talk about movies later. I won't sort of really say much. I don't need to, but I did actually sit and watch the first Planet of the Apes movie from Charlton Heston. I think the other weekend, actually.
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape!
It's a fantastic film, and it's brilliant. I'd say I'll
tell you what I watched with Charlton Heston the other day: Soylent Green.
Soylent Green. Oh god, yeah. I haven't seen that for donkeys.
I'll tell you what, though, I was absolutely amazed at what an arse he was as a cop.
What, in that film?
There is no due process with him. It was sort of like he was having sex with the witnesses and bribing them. He was stealing from the scenes of the crime. So, you're not exactly, clean whistled cop, are you?
No, but that's just it. It's just gritty, isn't it?
Well, there's gritty, and then there's he should be disciplined and actually chucked in jail himself.
Well, PC correct these days. You probably HR department would come down him on a ton of bricks.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, God of War. Do you want to say much about that?
Completed the campaign on this. Thoroughly enjoyed the campaign as well, I have to admit. Much more than I thought I was going to. There's one thing that has niggled me with this game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, it's a bit of a spoiler, so maybe skip on if you don't really want to know.
No, I don't either, to be honest.
It's not story related.
Yeah.
Well, it is story, but it's not going to tell you what happens in the story. But did you get to the bit where there was the access to the different realms?
I haven't got that far yet. I don't think I've got to the mountain yet, to be honest. Top of the mountain.
Right. Well, actually, I think that's after you've started going up the mountain. A lot of the story is about moving between different realms, and there are about 6 or 7 different portals that you can go through, but you can't go through them all in the game. So evidently there's a couple of them where it's not part of the story and it's not part of the secondary missions and stuff.
So
like
is it
that.
just are they sort of there for the sort of aesthetics as such? Or?
Yes. And that annoys the hell out of me.
Because you think if you put them in there, we just don't have them. Just if you're going to go through a portal, then use it.
Well, it's been suggested that they're going to be used in God of War, this God of War 2. Whether or not they do, I don't know. But it just it doesn't sit well with me that they put in something that is, a major thing in the world that you can't do anything at all about. It just doesn't feel quite right. But other than that, I've completely enjoyed the game. Oh, by the way, I did think maybe they're going to do it as DLC.
Right.
But evidently, the producer has said there's going to be no DLC for the game.
Well, you'd think that'd be silly because the game's made a shed load of money. Yeah. And it's probably going to... even though I've not completed it, I'm going to say this is going to be Game of the Year for a lot of people. Yeah, well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this game. And the campaign was really good. It was really interesting. It had all of that, Norse mythology in there. So it was moving it away from Zeus and all of that from the previous God of War. Yeah. Just really, really enjoyable. And also, there's so much to do still in the world, even though I've completed the main campaign. There's different... In different realms, there's different challenges for you to do. There's one area where you've got to unlock a load of chests to get the best armour. Yeah. But this is something that I just always find to be a really stupid mechanic in a game, is where you have these extra quests. And to be honest, Horizon Zero Dawn was exactly the same as this, because if you remember, there was that mech suit that you could get in Horizon, but you had to get all those batteries or whatever it was in order to be able to get to it. I've even completed. I think I'm terrible at it. I've got that to play still. I've been playing it, but I've not got it finished yet. So yeah, you need to finish that. Yeah. Well, there's this special armor that you can get from all of these chests. Yeah. But unless you really, really, really want to grind in the area where it's happened, you're not going to complete that while you're doing a campaign. And to be honest, where there's like super powerful armor that is available, I always feel that the story should compel you to get that to complete the campaign, so that you have that as your last boss battle, rather than have it so that it's a quest to complete after you've completed the main story, where the armour then becomes pointless because there isn't anything big to fight anymore. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't feel right to me as a way around. But, they're just small niggles in what is otherwise an absolutely fantastic game. It looks beautiful, it played really well, had no issues with it at all. There's so much to do in that world. I haven't even unlocked half of the trophies on it. There's that much to do. There's a mission for you. Well, I think it's quite a relatively easy platinum to get, with the exception of the Valkyries. So, in the world, did you come up against a door with like a mirror? Like a frosted mirror in front of it? Don't think so, no, not yet. Well, there's several of these in the world, and behind a lot of them are Valkyries, who are sort of extra tough people to fight, and they're all graded in terms of the difficulty as well. Okay. And if you... Well, I've tried taking on the Valkyries a couple of times, and I've got down to a last slither, and then they just annihilate me, which is so annoying. So annoying when it happens every time. But, I'm obviously doing something wrong. And I think it would probably help if I up my armour a little bit as well, but they are quite tough to beat. Ah, cool. But overall, great game. Great game to have a go, and I'm not surprised it's number one. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm thinking of a similar game. I forgot to put it on the list, but I've also been doing Hellblade.
Oh, on the Xbox, yeah?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's getting a lot of praise
fantastic.
still, even now it's been over there.
Yeah. So, shall we move on to the D word?
No, there's something I quickly want to talk about because it just popped into my head.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you know I've had a little problem with the Square Enix game.
What? Final Fantasy?
Yeah. And Final Fantasy 15 for the last 3 or 4 months didn't have any sound on the game.
Right.
And I thought, is it my Xbox? Is it because I'm in the beta preview? Blah, 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 blah. And I literally have written that game off. So after the latest update, I thought, well, I'll give it another go. I'll do this every time and I'll be disappointed. And lo and behold, the sound is back.
All right.
I don't know why. It's honestly, it's bizarre because every other game on the Xbox works fine. You know, it doesn't matter what you tweak in the settings, but for some reason, Final Fantasy 15 would not have any sound. To the fact that I got so desperate, I've deleted all my game saves.
So you have to start from scratch.
I've deleted 20 hours of gameplay.
Oh, man. I wouldn't go back. I just wouldn't go back.
I mean, I think I've learned a lot from playing the game. But I think it's worth going back for. At some point. I don't know when, but I don't think I'll have to look in the cloud. I think I was that desperate. I think I'm going to delete everything and just delete it all off and go back and re-download it. You know, start from scratch, and it still had no sound. So, but it's come back, so I'm happy about that. But one side of the coin is I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't save my game save. I thought, well, you know, I was desperate.
Did you delete it from the cloud?
I did, yeah.
God.
So yeah, it's
shouldn't have done that.
But I thought the game save was corrupt, probably. So, so you can see my point of view from that. But yes, you know, it is what it is, and I'm hoping that one day I'll go back to that game because I think Final Fantasy VII remake's a long way off yet.
Well, I'd heard, don't know how true this is, but I had heard that Final Fantasy VII would be a PS5 launch title.
I hope not.
And if that's the case, we're looking at least 2020.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that it's not the case. I pray that it's not the case because I'm so looking forward to that. There's so much life in that PlayStation 4. So,
well, to be honest, there's so much life in both consoles.
Absolutely.
We don't need another generation. And plus the fact, when you look at how much the Xbox One X is at the moment, and the PS4 Pro, how expensive is a new console going to be?
Stupid money.
And also with, you know, the bubble still hasn't completely burst on the Nvidia, you know, Bitcoin fiasco about pushing the price of graphics cards up. So I just think we don't need new consoles at the moment. They're perfectly capable of doing what they're going to do. Maybe give a bit of a boost to the speed of the PS4 Pro to get it more in line with the Xbox One X.
Yeah, no, there's no, excuse me, there's no reason why we can't stick with what we got for the next couple of years, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why not.
But we should have to wait for E3 for all the surprises. I mean, I have stayed away from some spoilers, hopefully. But
because, of course, there was that big shock news about the supposed releases, wasn't there?
Was there? I might have actually ignored it.
Yeah, Walmart, I think it was, released a list of all of the games that are coming on E3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you look at it?
No, I didn't, to be honest, because I thought, do I want to know or don't I want to know? I just wasn't too sure one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like thinking, I think I might need to have a look at that list.
Well, I don't want to spoil it because it's not too long now.
Well, I mean, is it really spoiling it? I mean, after all, it's just telling you what game's going to come when we're not going to be playing them.
But to be honest, though, I think some of that list might not be true. So, you might get excited for something that might not be happening.
That's true. That's true. But one thing that is happening that's been released was the disability-friendly Xbox controller. Did you see that?
So I've got to tell you what now. Fanboyism aside, how fantastic is that?
Yeah.
It gives it gives you people with maybe a slight disability of some kind to be able to play,
quite a severe disability.
to play video games.
Yeah.
And joking aside from me saying, I can use a joystick, and I've completely, what we were chatting about, but there's all these peripherals that can add that to give that person a gaming experience that will blow his mind.
Hmm.
And it's interesting that they didn't actually hold that back for E3.
Yeah. So let's hope that by releasing it early, the E3 is going to be filled with Xbox goodness.
Yes, absolutely.
Just like it will be filled with PlayStation goodness.
So true. Yes, we've got to keep everybody happy.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, both sides of the coin. I mean, I think the map for the PlayStation is well and truly mapped out, probably for the next year at least at the moment.
Yeah, I would say so.
But where Xbox is concerned, that road is a bit rocky at the minute, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so the game that we've been hammering, or maybe not hammering as much as we'd expect to be hammering, is Destiny 2, the Warmind expansion.
Mm.
And first thoughts are, I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I have as well, to be honest.
And it brings me back to the time when we were playing the original Destiny. This is that feeling you had when you were playing that game then is what I've got that back now at the moment. And I know there's probably people out there probably saying that no, Destiny's a dead game, it's not going to do anything. But in this interim period where Bungie have released certain updates, which we won't go over all the stuff they've done over the last 6 months, but they've put a lot of effort and work into this to change things around. They've been listening to the community and adding stuff that will help progress the game further. And I must admit, Osiris was a little bit lame as a package for that first DLC. But I think the Warmind is well and truly got my expectations high for the next year to come. And just moving on quickly, we will see the PlayStation E3. We'll be hearing more news of this road that's coming further from what we've got now.
Mm.
So there'll be more DLCs to come, as well as other bits and pieces. They're going to tweak the game for everyone to enjoy it. So I think it's brilliant. Yeah,
well, I mean, to be honest, they had to do something, though, didn't they? Because people have left Destiny in droves.
Oh, yeah, and rightly so. At the time, it didn't. I don't think Bungie expected Destiny 2 to work out the way it did.
No, I think that they thought that it was going to be
walk in a park.
Yeah.
But I think that old saying of if it ain't broken, you don't touch it, do you?
No.
It doesn't need fixing. But sorry, I did interrupt them. Do you want to say some more there? Yeah.
No. I was going to say basically the same thing.
So, apart from, I don't think when we look at these expansions and how we've hammered them in the past. So, the new power level is up to 335 and a rank 30. The rank went from 25 to 30, which isn't a great deal.
It must be higher than 335.
Did I put that in wrong? I do apologise.
Yeah, isn't it 380?
It's 385.
385.
Sorry,
yeah.
I do apologise. And I probably was a website with a page back from a different update. Probably that's why I put that in there. So the grind to get to top of this isn't easy.
No.
And the reason is they've done that deliberately because they don't want people hammering it out so quickly.
Mm.
Even with the end game stuff, with Escalation Protocol, there's a lot of people that can't touch that yet because you've got to finish the story and get to a certain power level to be able to play it.
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. Crucible had some new ranking systems. I've hit my second level on that. I had a little quick go this morning on that.
Mm.
We got plenty of new weapons and exotics, with Masterworks being improved as well. And I'll have a quick run through in a minute of the other bits and pieces. There's a few bits just to mention.
Yeah.
So overall, we know we've got two. You and I have been playing this from the start. I think we've got 2 levels left to play, 2 stories to do.
Mm.
And I'm looking forward. I mean, I know you've been busy, so I've been so tempted to try and walk through it and see what it's like, but I've been sort of staying behind.
Yeah.
But I do want to finish this just so we can get onto the end game stuff.
Yeah, because the actual campaign's not very long, is it?
No,
it's more the other stuff that they've added in.
Exactly, and with all the patch and some end game stuff as well, there's plenty enough to keep you busy till September, till what we hear what's next.
Yeah.
What more can I say about that? It's been a joy. There's been a return of some other enemies of old, but that's not a problem. Some of the guns and exotic guns that have been tweaked for the better are outstanding. And obviously, I haven't spoken to you for a while, Haydn, the last few days.
Mm.
But you need to go to Zur.
What, for the Cirrus?
Yes.
Yes. Guess who's got one?
Yeah. Soon as Friday came, and I went to Mason Sean's YouTube channel because he's one of the part of the Guardians of Destiny podcast, and I thought I'm sitting there, just have a little look what's on there. Well, straight over to that. I've got 100 shards sitting in my bank. Yeah. I've clicked it over the week, so picked it up straight away along with the Wall of Karma. But it's just fantastic. That little series is brilliant. And I picked up I actually picked up do you remember when we played the demo of Destiny 2? Yeah. Did you get the exotic hand cannon to play? Yes. Well, I tell you what, I picked it up as a drop over the last couple of days. And I was in the Crucible. And I was using it. God, did I kill him. Because it's got exploding rounds on it. Mm-hmm. And if you're close to someone that's been shot and exploded, you get it as well. And oh boy, did that work for me. I had so much fun with that weapon. Just brilliant. Really, really good. And just I say, I need to up my level a bit to tweak it a bit more. Yeah. But it's been so much fun. So I thought, if you anything you want to say more about it before I just run through a few things?
Just trying to think. I think that I mean it's more Destiny. It's more of the same, but slightly different. Yeah, yeah. And I think Destiny's starting to become a bit of a seasonal thing, really, isn't it? In the fact that they do the drop of this is a new DLC or content. We go mad for it for a few weeks. And then we move on. And I think that that's probably a better way of doing it, to be honest. I do quite like the fact that you can do now choose your own emotes.
Yeah, so one of the things you've got is a multi-emote wheel.
Yes.
So you can have choose 4 emotes to attach to your D-pad. And emote yourself to your heart's content.
Yeah, I think that's something that they've probably looked at games like Fortnite and thought, oh, people like that.
Yeah. Vault Space got a tweak. Now this is only a short-term solution, but what they've done is they've added it from 200 to 300 for now.
Yeah.
And a bit later on, they're going to be tweaking that a bit more, which is quite good. Guided games, which is something a lot of people probably do use, just if you want to get through certain parts of the game.
Yeah.
They've tweaked that for you, so you can jump on with another 2 people, for example, in strikes and that. The inventory categories.
Yeah, you can do that on a Nightfall as well, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Inventory, as I say, that's all changed. There's been a few bits with there's some exotic quests that we don't know about yet still, which is pretty interesting. Now, do you remember that weapon we picked out in the original Destiny? We did a quest where we had to get these orbs, and you got to put them in order. And
yes, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Well, that gun is back.
Yes.
And there's a new one. There's a new quest to do that.
Well, I've got a hand cannon version of it.
Oh, okay. So there are other secrets that haven't been revealed yet. So there are other weapons like the Black Spindle. If you remember that, when you had to then go off to a different route.
Yes.
At the end of the strike, and then you had to kill the big boss within you had probably about 20 minutes to finish him off.
Mm.
So there's more of that. They've changed the in-game audio. They've given that a bit of a tweak. Unfortunately, the raid in this part of the game I've not really touched yet, but they've got the raid lair as well, and the raid they've tweaked that to give you more goodness for that.
I desperately need to do the raid
Because
haven't done the last 2 raids on the original Destiny.
Yeah. Or
any raids on Destiny 2.
No, the raids Destiny 2 I've not touched. We've had a bit of a play, got so far with the first part.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's that to do. And obviously they've done a few general fixes as well. So overall, I think Bungie have done a great job with this.
Yeah.
And that's not being too fanboyish. I think they've taken a lot of stick over the coming months, and they're just putting it out there to keep everyone happy.
Mm.
So, okay. If we call the gaming side of that to an end, and we'll roll on to movies, TVs, and streaming.
In quest of a better life.
Right, so we'll look at some news. Now, what I thought we'd do this week is the biggest news available at the moment will be... I'm sorry, I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a minute. Is that America are cutthroat when it comes to their TV shows.
Yes.
And it's now that time of the year when is it do or die for another season.
Mm.
And I can see you put cancelled in big letters now.
Yeah, because you couldn't see it before.
I couldn't see it. Because I was about to have a go at you saying about young Sheldon, but... Sorry, yeah. So, I think if we just have a little... Anything we pick out, we can say. So, if we just go down. So, obviously, we're looking at what's been renewed.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, all the DC stuff's been renewed anyway. They're doing rather well.
Yeah, so Arrow, The Flash, Legend of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's not all good news for the Marvel universe, though, is it?
They've had a kick in the nuts, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, the
for
good
you,
news...
actually, more for you, I suppose, because I will get to watch it all, but...
Yeah, I mean, I've been a big fan of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
All along, and it's been renewed, but for a final series, and it's only half of a season. So it's 10 episodes instead of 20 something.
Do you think this is something to do with the movies? Why it's only half a season?
Well, no, I don't, because evidently they're just sort of ignoring what's going on in the movies.
Yeah.
So from what I can gather of what I've read, which is skipping ahead of probably tonight's or next week's episode, if it is on next week, is that the team splits up at the end of this episode in some sort of way, and then the sort of finalise things with the next series coming back after the events of Infinity War, because evidently because they were also saying that it's not going to be around until like summer 2019 as well. That's the other thing. So it's going to be a busy time because that's going to be about when Game of Thrones, the final season, drops as well.
Okay, so they're sort of being a strategy on this, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, but to be honest, I don't think that really Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. competes in any way with Game of Thrones.
Yeah. It's your turn to have a dog barking now.
It is.
So, for me, actually, I can see some personally some shows that I watch with at home, like MasterChef and that. They're all there still, but they do get the viewing figures in.
Yeah.
And one TV show which at some point is coming to an end, which is The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, but it's been renewed. It's
been renewed. Now, I thought that season 10 might be the last season. Which I think I might be wrong, but I think season 10 is going to be the next season.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, did you take my warning? Did you take my heed? And did you watch the last episode?
No, I didn't.
So can you, is there any sort of backup TV where you can watch it?
Maybe.
Because Mark Hamill in that was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And if you don't want to know what it's about, just for 5 seconds, I won't tell you what it is. But
I'm not bothered. So if you want to do spoiler alert, and then say what's what.
So we all know that Sheldon's getting married to Amy in this episode, and what they've done is the episode before this they brought back in Sheldon's brother, who's never been spoken about or mentioned probably through the whole series.
Is he in Young Sheldon?
He is. That's right. So what they've done is because you've got these shows sort of running concurrently now, they're bringing little Easter eggs in Young Sheldon, and we've had Missy, which is his sister, has been in the show, but now he's in it as well with his mum, and what happens is, oh God, my memory's going terrible now, but. Some of his other colleagues in the show found a dog, and they didn't know who the owner was of the dog, but they put it out there on the internet that this dog's been found.
Right. And
they've got the dog, and the door knocks, and they open the door. And Mark Hamill's standing at the door. He shuts it again for a second to think, "You're kidding me," and he's all wetting himself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Mark Hamill says, "Look, thank you for finding my dog. I need to reward you." No, don't. He says, "Well, there is something you could do," and they don't tell Sheldon, but they get Mark Hamill to be the in British terms, to be the vicar to do the ceremony for his wedding.
All right.
So he's walking down the aisle. And he suddenly sees Mark Hamill at the pulpit, at the end of the walk.
Yeah,
it's absolutely hilarious. And as I say, you've not watched Young Sheldon yet.
No,
but we've really enjoyed it. I think the child they picked for that is so spot on. All the mannerisms that we know about Sheldon, and what we learn about Sheldon as a child. It's a really, really good show. I mean, he does actually narrate it at some point in the beginning of each episode.
Right.
So you have
a bit like the Wonder Years, sort of.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So there's a little bit of narration from Sheldon and Big Bang. But it's fantastic. It really is good. And there's been a few little, how do we put it? There's a few little Easter eggs of learning things that we know about Sheldon in Big Bang that we find out how they materialise when he's a child.
Yes.
And I don't know when we're going to see Sheldon get to a Star Trek convention and be gutted that Will Wheaton didn't turn up, But that should be interesting too. But yeah, it's brilliant, and all good things do come to an end. And at some point, we knew Big Bang Theory could finish in the next 2 or 3 seasons. But the cast know if it's good enough to still air it, then they probably will do.
Yeah,
that's just great. Anything else? I think for you, the Orville's sitting there in big letters. Yeah,
the Orville. Looking forward to that. Evidently, there's going to be some changes in the crew on the Orville as well, but I'm looking forward to season 2. Glad that that's been renewed. There's the Blacklist. Quite like that. Have you ever seen that?
No, I've been seeing it advertised.
Yeah.
So it's something I need to look at some point.
Well, I think that you'll actually sort of like it, to be quite honest. It's got James Spader as an ex-FBI agent who turned to a bad guy. And now he's working with the FBI to bring down, big, murderers and terrorists and this, that and the other.
Yeah.
And there's this whole sort of story of, is the FBI agent that he's working with like his daughter or not? And, there's issues about a husband, which I won't go into, but she starts suspecting her own husband of, doing funny stuff and all, and they're trying to adopt a child, and, her world gets turned inside out, because she's the FBI agent assigned to be his liaison, because he said he will only work with her.
Yeah.
So it's really good, well worth watching, to be honest, and just so much to it. So mentioned about Marvel's. Did we mention about Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or was that in our conversation before?
Yeah, we've talked about S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah. Yeah,
so glad that that's going, the Orville as well. Salvation, which is something I've started watching on Netflix, to be honest. That's not too bad. Supergirl's going to go ahead, and you said Young Sheldon. So those, for me, are the main ones that are on this list. I mean, obviously, what's not on the list I've got is Star Trek Discovery, but we know that that's already been picked up.
I've got to tell you this now. I'm sure Chris will be listening to this at some point. And I chatted to Chris at work the other day. We were talking about it. I said, did you get to watch it? He said, yeah. I said, yeah, it was all right. Yeah. I said, well, what about the last 5 minutes? Well, it's all right. I said, well, what do you mean it was all right? And I started to say to him, sort of spoiling it, by saying, well, what about the Enterprise? What do you mean the Enterprise? And Captain Christopher Pike in distress. What are you talking about?
He hadn't seen the last one.
No, he's not.
Sorry, Chris, I shouldn't be laughing, but...
So he said,
mate, you've got to watch the rest of it.
So he's 1 episode down for watching. So hopefully he's watched it over the weekend. I did tell him to give me a knock and tell me what he thought.
Yeah.
But that did make me chuckle.
I do have to admit, though, I do hope that Lorca comes back. Hello to Jason Isaacs.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I liked him as a captain, to be honest. He's gone, even though it was the mirror version of him, he's gone right up there on my list.
Oh, absolutely. And maybe, I mean, we have had, they've announced who's playing Captain Christopher Pike, haven't they? Have you seen that?
Yes, because, well, let's face it, the actor became available because the show he was in has been canned, and that is Marvel's Inhumans.
Which didn't last very long, did it?
No, and to be honest, he only said a couple of words in the whole show.
But doesn't he look like Christopher Pike from the TV show?
Yeah, he does.
From the original series.
Jeffrey Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well done. I mean, there's probably other characters that we're not going to know yet, but would be interesting to hear about.
Well, they'll be number 1, won't they? And I suppose Spock should be on that. Spock should be on the Enterprise at that point.
I'm not sure, because it was 10 years before, wasn't it? So...
Yeah, but Spock was on the Enterprise before Kirk.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was on there, yeah. Obviously, we had the the pilot that he was in. So, it'd be interesting to see how this all goes.
Yes. Yeah, looking forward to it anyway.
Yeah. With the cancellations, though, there's a couple I'm a bit miffed about. So the first one's The Exorcist.
Yeah, I highlighted that because I thought you'd be miffed about that.
Now, I didn't get to see the end of season 1. I really, what I'll probably do now is wait until it's all finished and I'll watch it all again.
Yeah.
But there was a big reveal at the end of Exorcist 1.
Yeah.
Which, all I'm going to say, links to the original movie. Which was really clever. The other show I'm really disappointed about because we watch it here in our household and it does make us laugh, and that's The Middle.
I never got into that, to be honest, but I that's been going on for quite a few years now, hasn't it?
It has, and if anyone doesn't realise, why it's called Middle is because they live in Middle America.
Mm.
And it's a classist like, it's like The Simpsons where you've got a dysfunctional family, but we've got not a cartoon, but we've got a proper show.
Yeah.
And there's the mum and dad and there's 3 kids.
Yeah.
The 2 oldest ones are pretty standard and up to it, but they've got all their faults. And the younger child, he's very special in many ways, and he's actually quite a good actor. He was actually, what was it I saw him in that I first noticed? Do you remember the Will Smith movie where he was a superhero?
Yeah. Hancock,
yeah. And do you remember the beginning of the movie when he's laying on the bench and this little kid's trying to push him out saying, you know, what are you doing there, you know?
Yeah.
That was him.
Was it?
It was in The Middle, yeah. And it's a good TV show. We've watched these. Again, it's like, I say, it's obviously Modern Family's got another year again, as it should do, because it's a cracking show. Where again, this show is we've been watching this family from when the kids were younger, growing up all the way to where they are now. And it'd be a shame to see it go, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm quite surprised at some of the ones that are actually going, because when you look, you think, why are they going when some of the other ones are staying, to be honest?
Yeah, I mean, I know you probably don't watch New Girl. I haven't watched the last season, so I need to find that somewhere.
Mm.
But what they did with New Girl, obviously, Zooey Deschanel was in that series.
Yeah.
And she played in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movie as well. And late into the show, another actress joined it. That's Megan Fox.
All right, from Transformers.
Yeah, so she was in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that is quite a funny show. We find that humour pretty. We do get on with it. And one of the other actors in that's probably not really known. He was in one of the Jurassic Park movies recently.
Mm.
You know, and he was in also. Do you remember that movie about the 2 people that pretended to be cops?
Yes.
He was in that as well.
Yeah.
Obviously not the colour guy. He was the other one, you know. But just some good actors in that, and it's just a real shame that, you know, I do like some of the comedy that comes out of America.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, I'm really, because I'm quite an American humour fan as well, and one of the ones that I liked is The Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, I never got on with that. I never really dug into it much.
Yeah, I just picked that up and started watching it, and that's been canned now. So this season it's on a bit, or to be released is the last one.
Is that about the 3rd season, is it?
4th, I think.
Yeah. But as we're well aware that Americans are pretty harsh when it comes to TV shows.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, I'm quite surprised Lucifer's going, because I thought that was quite popular. But maybe I'm wrong.
To be honest, but you know, there was a show cancelled a couple of seasons ago, which I'm still devastated about. But then again, on the other hand, he's coming back to DC Legends, and that's Constantine.
Yeah.
And if anyone hasn't seen the TV show of that, you need to check that one out.
I didn't get on with it.
Really?
Really?
I think the English guy that plays Constantine, I'd say you've seen him now in DC.
Yeah.
On Legend of Tomorrow. He's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well worth picking up. I think there might have been 2 seasons, if I remember rightly, of that show.
Yeah.
And, class.
I mean, there's another show that's we're pending knowing what's happening to it, which is Timeless, if you've seen that.
No, I don't think I did.
Yeah, it's worth watching. It's a time travel show.
Yeah.
Timeless, as you would expect.
Big clue.
Yeah, where a time machine's stolen and someone's going in the past trying to change it.
Yeah.
And then the people who invented it, they work for the government, and the government goes back to try and stop them from tampering with time.
Mm.
So it's and they go back to the Second World War and stuff like that. It's quite a good show to watch.
Yeah.
I must admit though, I did think that had been cancelled. I have a feeling the first season might have been cancelled, and then it was on the second or something like that, or there'd been rumours it was going to be cancelled. So I don't know, but it's on at the moment, and it's also on either Netflix or Amazon. Can't remember which.
Yeah. Oh yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so I think we've done enough of that.
Yeah.
No other shows you want to mention at all? I think that's probably...
No, I think that's about it. But, obviously, I think you posted a link before, didn't you, about what's on or not. So any shows that you want to watch, somehow Big Brother's still going.
Why?
I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. Okay, so let's pop on to new releases in the cinema.
Yeah. So... do you want to do it, or shall I?
I'll do that, and then I'll get you to do the Blu-ray, because you posted that in there, and then we can have a chat. So, probably you're chomping at the bit for the 24th of May.
Yes.
For Solo, a Star Wars story. Interesting to wait and see how this pans out. It's been panned a little bit.
I've heard so many mixed reports about it, to be honest. I've heard the critics hate it, and I've heard the critics love it in equal measure. So
I think I would like... I may not on call next week, so this is Bank Holiday weekend, isn't it, when it comes out?
Yeah. So
hopefully it's in there for a while, so I might get to go and see it.
They should have done it on the Friday at the beginning of the month, because then that would have been May the 4th be with you.
Do you think that would have been an ideal time to release it?
Yeah, I do. Perfect time.
But I think the PA was completely screwed there, because I don't know. It's just...
Yeah. Well, they should release all Star Wars movies on that date. That should be the International Star Wars Movie Day.
At least that means, well, if it's going to be one a year, at least that's the day we see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so 25th of May, also, so that was the 24th. 25th, we've got Show Dogs. Also,
my son's dying for this.
Excuse me, is this a cartoon or is it real characters?
No, it's real characters. But it's basically live action, but with the dogs, acting and talking and stuff like that. And I think one of the people who's in it is, Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Well, the brother on Arrested Development, Michael's brother, who does all the magic tricks and that, he's on it.
Oh, okay. So is this like when Disney did...
It's a kid's film.
Yeah, it's like when Disney did The Fantastic Journey.
Yeah. So
you had real dogs going across doing the story, and I think even the sequel had Michael J. Fox as doing a voiceover, remember rightly? Yeah,
it's that sort of voiceover, a bit like Cats and Dogs was as well, but it's just a daft kids comedy.
I loved Cats and Dogs. Don't get me. I don't know why. I just love that movie. That was just so tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
So the last one we got here is Zama. I'm not sure. I don't know much about that one.
No, I can't say I do either, to be honest.
You've got that pasted as 2017, but I think that's a mistype.
Yeah, it's just from where I've copied and pasted it from, to be honest. So it's what they've mistyped. I just copied and pasted it.
So would you like to give us some highlights for the Blu-rays
Yeah, to be honest, there's not a massive amount in it. This coming week is the best week. So from May the 21st, you've got Existence, which has Jude Law, and it's sort of it. If I don't remember, not you remember this, but there was a film years ago where they built a gun from bones and started shooting at people. That was Existence.
Yeah, okay.
And basically, it's a take on virtual reality.
Okay.
So that's one, but it's not like VR the way that you would think it'd be VR, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other big one, especially if you're into your 4K Blu-ray movies, is The Matrix,
which is a fantastic film.
Brilliant, one of the best films of all time.
I haven't got much of hope for the sequels, but
no, the sequels are nowhere near as good. But the original Matrix, it was just so groundbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely. What about after that? Because there's if you're a bit of a Maze Runner fan, for that trilogy, there's a few of those coming out.
Yeah.
And one of my favourite films, but I don't understand why it's a collection. Maybe I'm not thinking on the right plane here. Midnight Cowboy?
All right, okay.
Now, the film Midnight Cowboy was an Oscar-winning movie with John Voight and Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, that's coming a week after, isn't it? On the 28th.
Yeah. Great film. And with there's a great bit of music in that as well. Other than that, there's one more I can see.
And you're referring, of course, to the royal wedding.
I am not referring to and what did I say? We weren't going to mention that.
Sorry, I honestly thought you were meaning the royal wedding, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle DVD.
No, I'm not. I'm on about Extra.
He was really. Okay, Extra. Shoot, you go then. Tell us about it.
So, what I can remember of this movie, and this is very much a cult film, but it was a science fiction film about an alien creature coming to Earth.
I don't think I've ever seen this, to be honest.
Haven't you? I think it was going to be early 80s, so there's a bit of ham and cheese thrown in there for fun.
Yeah.
But I will have to look out for that, even if I have to look out for that unorthodoxly, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. I mean, there is a few 4K Blu-rays that are coming out to if you want to bolster your collection, but actually, none of them seem to be that fantastic.
The Last House on the Left, there's a horror movie there. I just noticed. Is The Patriot? Is that the?
I presume that'll be the Harrison Ford one.
Yeah.
Was that Patriot Games?
It's Patriot Games, isn't it?
Yeah. So it won't be the Harrison Ford one then.
Alan Bleasdale, I remember that was a TV show. There was some one-off ones they did for that. Other than that, and unless you're a Midnight Summer Murder fan.
No, the Patriot, I'll tell you what it was. It was the Burdock, Mel Gibson.
Yes,
movie. That was the Patriot.
Yeah, I understand now.
Yeah.
So, and there's one there you've not mentioned. I'm surprised you missed that, which is the Jurassic Park Trilogy Collection 4K.
Yeah, sorry, I did highlight it and I forgot to mention it. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so if you like your Jurassic Park, you can get the first 3 movies there. So that'll be quite a good collection. Although I wonder how well those would age on a 4K screen.
I don't know. I think, to be honest, the first one's the best one really out of the 3.
Yeah, it's kind of like the graphics went backwards a little bit, didn't they, in the following 2? Like they rushed them a little bit.
Yeah. But if you could probably pick up, I think if I could pick up the first one on its own.
Yeah.
I think I'd prefer to do that, to be honest.
I don't know, I like collections. It bothers me when I only have one in a series of films.
Yeah,
I think that's my OCD kicking in, to be honest.
Probably, yeah, I can see your point, but as I say, I still haven't picked up the latest Star Wars film, so
yeah.
And less about that, the better.
We said enough, I think, in this special.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get invited to any Disney red carpet events. Not that I think we're going to get invited anywhere, but I think we're even less likely to get invited to them after our review of The Last Jedi.
No, absolutely not. Anyway, so let's move to the cinema charts.
Actually, sorry, funnily enough, I actually watched that again today. It doesn't get better for watching.
No, it probably doesn't. So, actually, the charts look a bit poor, to be honest. But so in at 5 is Breaking In. I don't know that film.
No.
4, we got Life of the Party. 3, I Feel Pretty. Now, I was about to burst into song then, but I won't.
Thank you.
2, we got Sherlock Gnomes, which I presume is a sequel to the other Gnome movie that came out quite a while ago.
I think it is. Yeah.
Which is where they had Elton John doing the song at the beginning.
Yeah, Elton John does this one as well.
Okay.
Because I saw him, I think it was, because obviously most of the time we have Cartoon Network on because my son watches it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, is it me or is Sir Elton John starting to look more and more like a frog every time you see him?
I don't know. I can't really comment on that.
I'm not kidding. When I looked at it, I thought, God, he looks like Kermit. Don't get me wrong, I love Elton John.
Yeah.
Some of his songs, are among my favourite songs, but he's not aging well. He's not aging well. If he's going under the knife, he needs to get somebody who does better cuts, I think. Yeah. But bless him. Anyway.
But as you say, the film at the moment, the film that's number 1, I think will be there for a little while yet to come.
Yeah.
Is Avengers Infinity War.
And I have to admit, I am completely torn because I'm desperate to see Avengers Infinity War, but I'm also desperate to see
Solo.
So I might just turn around to my wife and say I'm having a day at the cinema.
I don't know if I could watch 2 films in the same day, to be honest, because I'd like to take it in.
Oh, I've back when our idea of a multiplex was we had 4 screens at the Odeon.
Yeah.
I just spent the day there. From one to the other, the other. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah,
Correct.
back in the day. When
I think it spoils, because if you love a movie and you say you've got these days, could be 2.5 hours, 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And I think coming away from that film like you do from a cinema and you've taken it all in, you've enjoyed what you've seen, but then to just jump straight into another movie, I think will make you lose some of that from the first film you've seen.
Mm.
But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Anyhow, if we move swiftly on to our movie and TVs of the week, mind you saying that, my TV bit's done because I've mentioned that during the cancellations. Yes. So, what was your TV this week that you've been watching?
My TV, I've been binge watching this as well.
Mm. I know what it is, but yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Explain to those that don't know what it is.
Well, it is, like I said, it is National Zombie Awareness Month. So, in keeping with that, I've been watching Santa Clarita Diet, which is Drew Barrymore as a member of the undead, basically. And her and her husband go about killing people so that she can eat them. And it's a comedy.
And I've seen probably the first 2 episodes of that some time ago.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone else in my house had really... Well, actually, my daughter's... She's probably got the idea about it.
Mm.
But you've caned it, haven't you?
I have. I've watched both seasons of it, and there's a new season coming as well. So, it's just so funny. I mean, it's got... I've forgotten what his name is. Ricardo Antonio Chavira, who was on Desperate Housewives, if you remember that. He was
no, I don't think I actually watched it, but I know what you're on about.
Yeah, well, I watched it because it had Terry Hatcher in, so I had to.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was watching him and I was thinking, I know his face and I can't picture him at all. And then just, you know, when suddenly something hits you, like a, you know, smack on the back with the back of your head with a frying pan. It's sort of like, it's him because he looks so different. You know, he's shaved his goatee off and he's lost weight, and you know, and obviously it's several years later, but he looks well. But it's got Timothy. How do you pronounce it? Was Oliphant, something like that.
Okay.
On it as well. He's what's he been on? Just trying to think. Try to remember. He's been on Hitman, Justified, Deadwood, Scream 2 rather. It's been on a few different things, but he's brilliant in it as well because he kind of like plays the witless husband who, you know, is just trying to keep his family together by, you know, helping his wife to kill all of these people. Because they only go for, like, nasty people, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
But, anyway, it's one of those things that you've got to watch because, you know, the next door neighbour, who's played by the guy out of, Desperate Housewives, he's a sheriff and he finds out that, he sees them mopping up the murder of Drew Barrymore's boss. And so then starts blackmailing the husband who he thinks is the one who killed him.
Yeah. When
it wasn't. It was actually Drew Barrymore. And this has, Nathan Fallon on it as well. And he was the boss who got killed. But that doesn't mean he's not in it anymore. And it's just so funny, to be honest.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. It's a slightly different take on the whole zombie kind of environment. It's not iZombie, but it's certainly completely different to The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just a light-hearted bit of fun, quite gruesome in a couple of bits as well, although not, you know, really explicitly. But I've completely enjoyed it. Good show. It's on Netflix. Definitely, you know, if you like zombies, watch it. Well worth it.
Excellent.
I think you'd enjoy it if you got going with it.
Yeah, probably. It's like everything really. So much to watch, isn't there? Not enough time in a day to do it.
No, that's very true.
But yeah, good. I think we got a bit of a in sync thing for movies this week.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't really spoken too much.
No, but a bit of John Carpenter feel to it.
Just a little bit. I've watched 2 and you've watched 1.
Yeah.
And some people just don't like the original, do they?
No.
What is wrong with people?
I don't know.
So you've watched Escape from New York.
I have.
And I've watched Christine and Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
Have you seen those 2 before?
I have, but many, many years ago, to be honest. Cause so much so I can't even remember what the stories were on them now. It's so long ago.
So, Christine, if you don't know, is about a nerdish boy who buys a strange car with an evil mind of its own.
Oh, yeah.
And where he's been bullied at college, he starts taking out on them.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Again, Stephen King novel.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually watched this on Netflix.
I might catch it then on there.
So, yeah, the quality's okay. I mean, it's probably a VCR version, I think, what I could work out, but it was still worth watching.
Yeah.
And the other film I watched, which is, believe it or not, is all the way back in 1976.
Wow, pre-Star Wars.
Yeah, and Assault on Precinct 13. This did get a remake. I don't think John Carpenter was involved in the remake, but I didn't really get on with it. I do prefer the original. It's very gritty. Basically what this is, it's about a partnership between a highway patrol officerman and two criminals that are stuck in a police station which is being closed down.
Mm-hmm.
And after a load of police go after a load of gangs to tidy him up, the ones that are left go on revenge with a blood pack and try to take out the police station. Hence the title. Mm-hmm. Really good. Great soundtrack as well. Is the title song for this by John Carpenter is brilliant. I'm sure if you've not heard it, check it out. But yeah, I think other than from the horror side, these are three of some of John Carpenter's best works.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always been a massive fan of Escape from New York, even when I watched it when I was too young to watch it.
God, you make me feel old now.
Yeah, but, from watching it on a little black and white TV in my bedroom where my mum and dad thought I was asleep.
Yeah, well, I caught Assault on Precinct 13. I think it was about 1981, maybe.
Yeah,
and I caught it on television at the time. I come back from a night with my mate at the pub, so I sort of part your ways. He actually lived 2 doors up from me.
Yeah,
and I just went in, and obviously no social media was around then, and I sat and watched this movie and was thoroughly immersed in it. And I got out my window, and my mate was this is something like out of Rocky, really, what he does when he talks to the church. But we were chatting in like 1 a.m. out on the street through the windows for 2 doors up, after both watching this movie and saying how fantastic it is.
Well, he is such a good director. Is John Carpenter? Oh,
absolutely. And if anybody doesn't really know him too much, go look at his back catalogue.
Yeah.
I mean, even with one of your favourites, which is Big Trouble in Little China, which is superb.
Yeah, fantastic film. One of my favourite films of all time.
Yeah. And They Live. We've got Prince of Darkness. We've got The Fog. We have the Halloween movies. We've got Dark Star.
God, I've got Dark Star on DVD, actually.
So yeah, that's a great sci-fi film.
Yeah. So
there's loads there to watch.
But what's funny is Escape from New York is in the past.
It is, isn't it? 1998, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, something like that. But it's such an iconic film, and the whole the whole idea that New York is a maximum security prison, and that they just chuck people on the island and then that's it, they don't come out.
Yeah, well, it's funny because they give you the opportunity to be cremated on the spot before you go in.
Yes, I love that as a thought as well. And
it's just when you see in Snake Plissken and everyone else being coming off the charter, and you hear this little announcer saying that if you would like to be cremated on the spot, speak to your duty officer.
Oh, fantastic! And of course, it's got as well as having Kurt Russell. You've got Donald Pleasance in there as well as the president. Yeah,
because obviously he was in Halloween as well, Halloween 1 and 2.
Yes.
Actually, probably 3, not 3, because 3 wasn't to do with Michael Myers, but you had a few more. But I thought you would have mentioned at least one of my favourite actors from the days of Clint Eastwood.
What, Lee Van Cleef?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I was going to say him after Donald Pleasance, to be honest.
Yeah, and there's a few other actresses. There's an actress, I can't remember her name at the top of my head, but she was in The Fog as well. And Isaac Hayes plays the gang leader that's got Donald Pleasance, who's the president, locked up.
The Duke?
Yeah, the Duke, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good segue, isn't it?
It is, isn't it, actually? And you've got the guy called Brain.
Yeah, Brains.
He's unfortunately passed away now.
And you've got Ernest Borgnine as well.
Yeah, Cabby.
Yeah, such a great cast on that movie.
I've actually asked my wife, it's my birthday in a couple of weeks. If you didn't know,
I might have guessed.
And she said, I never normally give her a list. She'll just do what she does, and But I want the double album soundtrack for Escape from New York, which is 180 gram vinyl.
Yeah.
With the how do I put it again? It's the extended soundtrack.
I wouldn't mind a copy of that myself, to be quite honest.
Because it's also got some snippets of the film in between the tracks as well. So I just gave her the Amazon link for the vinyl, along with another 4 albums. So take your pick. I'll be happy either way. Which ones you don't get, I'll get myself at some point. So
fantastic movie though, fantastic, and great soundtrack as well. That the theme tune is just so iconic.
Yeah, I thought maybe not to a lot of people, but I say John Carpenter. I really hope he does another tour in the UK. And people don't believe me to say that actually he does tour and does, because he actually plays the guitars and everything else. Which they mix with Alan Howarth in those soundtracks. Yeah. And he went on tour. He's on tour at the moment in America. They have a big screen with all the clips from the movies with them playing the soundtracks. So that'd be wicked.
It would be. It's just such a shame that Escape from LA didn't come anywhere near its predecessor.
No. And unfortunately for people that are maybe not as old as us, didn't get to see it in that order. They seem to think highly more of LA than New York, the original.
Well, anybody who thinks that Jedi is a better film than Empire, I think that says it all.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, Nicky, we're just taking a mick.
But
there is an element of truth in that as well.
Anyhow, so from one Duke to another, should we have some tech talk?
Yep.
From the laboratories of...
Okay, so if any aren't wise about this, Xbox have re-released the Duke controller, which was...
Is it actually Xbox or is it branded?
In what way, sorry?
Well, I thought it wasn't. I thought it was another make, but it's been branded, an official license sort of copy, isn't it? Or is it actually Microsoft?
So what it actually was, so the OG Xbox.
Yeah.
The original large controller that came with that.
The Duke. And this was designed by Sean Blackley, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but this came about as a joke because Sean Blackley got his son to tweet the Xbox, that controller, with, I think it was just a joke, and he did it with the latest Xboxes. And it got 80,000 tweets and asking people, is this for real? We getting this back? So with Hyperlink and chatting to Phil Spencer and everyone else, it became real. So it's going to be... So basically this is for Xbox One and PC. Yeah.
So from your point of view, you could give it a go if you wanted to on PC. It's identically the same look and feel as the original controller. Obviously, there's more triggers and buttons for the controllers of today, which they've designed with the new version. And where you used to, I don't remember, you used to be able to put a memory card in it, if I remember rightly, in the back of it.
There used to be 2 slots, didn't there?
Yeah, well, they've closed it off now. They've just cleaned it off in the design. And one of the best bits for me is the Xbox button in the middle, which by now you should have seen the video I've put up.
It's animated, isn't it?
I don't know how they've animated, but it looks exactly what it did when you used to watch it on the startup for the original Xbox.
So is it like a mini screen underneath the button?
Yeah. And it just plays that. So basically, the button works as any Xbox controller does. So, like the smaller version of any other controller, you press that.
Yeah.
It brings you to the home screen.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you push it, it brings up that animation screen for the start from the original Xbox. If you've not seen it, guys, you can look on YouTube and I'm sure you'll find it and see it. But it's class, absolutely class. So what I did last night was I plugged it in and I thought I'd get out Halo because I think that probably was the first game I played on the original Xbox.
Yeah.
The weight of it's pretty cool. I don't think it's too heavy. For the size of my hands, I can cope with the size of it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we all love the S controller that came out afterwards, which leads on to what we play with now, basically, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But what's quite clever, actually, that because it is quite big, the triggers are quite handy where they are. That's quite easy to use. But the two bumpers at the top, the little buttons, they might feel a bit out of reach. But what they've done is, if you remember the black and white buttons that were above the X, Y, blue,
yeah,
those you can use those instead to do the movement. So if you're triggering between menus and stuff like that, you can use those buttons instead of the bumpers there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you've got a 3.5 audio jack at the bottom as well, which is handy for any sort of microphone, come whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a joy. It really is.
And is it actually wireless or is it wired?
It's wired. But the wire does come separate, so you can plug it in like you do any other controller. And it's got the same USB and end on it as well.
Yeah.
The lead comes to about 3 meters. So
it's a good length.
Oh, absolutely. So where I actually sit quite a fair way from the screen, I can actually get to sit down at my chair and have that lead out. What can I say? It's a joy to have. From it. And I say, when I was playing, you wondered why I was playing Halo last night. And
having a bit of retro time.
Exactly, and it felt like I was at home. It felt like I was playing my original Xbox. And what I did do for a while is, obviously, as you can be well aware, is that with the Master Chief Collection,
yeah,
you can hit a button to give it the original shadings and look of the game.
Yeah.
Then you hit the button again, it brings you like the little upgraded HD tweaks it is with. So I put it into the old mode. Which
looked awful.
But you know what? I just, for a minute, with that controller in my hand, I loved it. Really did. Whether this is a limited edition, I'm not quite sure.
I've not heard it's a limited edition. I think it's just, available
now.
Now, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I pre-ordered this 3 months ago. On the quiet.
I almost did, but then I changed my mind, to be honest, because I'm quite happy with the Elite controller. I mean, is this going to be something that you're going to use all the time?
No, it will be used for certain games.
When you're playing retro games?
Yeah. And, I mean, I've got the Project Scorpio edition. I've got my Elite controller.
Yeah.
Stapled together with a rubber sleeve. We won't go into that story, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because your rubber grip came up. Do you know what? I had exactly the same thing after all of the ribbon that I gave to you. And I just got glue and glued it back down and it's fine. Yeah,
well, I did glue some of it down, but what I did, I thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to buy a sleeve over it anyway.
Yeah, well, I showed you those, didn't I?
You did, certainly. So, but yeah, no, it is a joy to have, and there's a lot of praise for it out there.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see the feedback comes back on that.
Be interesting to see if they actually do one that's based on the 360.
Yeah, I've got an actual 360 controller now, luckily, funnily enough.
Yeah, but I mean, doing an Xbox One 360 controller.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's the same number of buttons on those, isn't there? So it shouldn't, it'd be just redoing it to a different style box rather than what they've had to do on this.
The other buttons, I think they've been added. Obviously, you got the black and white buttons, and you got
the black and white were on the original, weren't they?
Yeah, and also the 4 colour ones as they are. But below that, you got the hamburger, as we'll call it at the moment, and the 2 TV. So you got those 2 buttons in there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's brilliant. I really love it.
Because I presume because it doesn't have shoulder buttons, does it?
Yeah.
Does it?
The bumpers. You got the triggers and bumpers.
All right. Okay. I thought it would just had the triggers.
No. So that's what I say. Because obviously they're a bit tiny on the top. But as I say, I'll take some snapshots later and show you it. But you've got the black and white button that does the same thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The black and white button act as the bumpers.
Yeah, but they've actually physically put some in as well.
All right. Okay.
So you got the trigger, and then just so if you move your 2 fingers up, you'll pick up the bumpers.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, really good. I love it.
I think if this comes down and it's about 40 quid, I might get it, but not because it's about £65, isn't it? Or 70 quid, somewhere around there, depending upon where you go.
Depending when you pre-ordered it as well, because I got it a bit cheaper.
Yeah, and it just for a wired controller feels a bit expensive. Yeah, he says after having a. The PlayStation, wired controller that was quite expensive.
Yeah, of course, yeah, it didn't, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why it is with all of these, unofficial, or official but unofficial controllers. Do you know what I mean? The non-mainstream official controllers. Why is it that they're all wired? Why can't they just put batteries on them?
Oh, I think it's sometimes a design, maybe. I don't know.
I just wonder if it's something so that it doesn't make the other controllers look bad.
Yeah, because you've got that bulky battery bit on the 360, haven't you? The way that looks. And they've curved that off a bit now, haven't they? So.
Yeah, well, they just turn the batteries round in the design and it looks a lot better.
True. So, okay.
But
we'll leave it there.
It does look like a nice gadget.
Oh, it is. And it's a lovely box as well. It comes in as well. So, see those on eBay later. I wonder what they go as. It'd be interesting to see how they sell and people get to the to the wrath of eBay with what they're after. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on. So, next up will be the debate.
There was something missing.
So, Facebook gave us the results out of the 3 we gave you. So, we're going to talk about our best movie villains.
Yeah.
And we're going to give our, it won't be a top 5, it's 5 of our favourites. No particular order, because I don't think you can actually probably pinpoint
I think movie. It depends on the movie, doesn't it, really?
And the mood. So, if we just go alternately, I think, on this.
Yeah.
So, what I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with Nurse Ratched. And to a lot of people, you probably haven't got a clue who she is. Now, did you know her, by the way?
Yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
You did, yeah. And Louise Fletcher played as the actress.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the nurse from hell.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys are not aware, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a story about some people in a mental. This is probably very non-PC how I say this, but at the time for when it came out, so it's a psychiatric hospital.
Yeah. And
she was the head nurse on the ward where Jack Nicholson and a bunch of cronies were presiding in the hospital.
Mm.
And she was a nasty piece of work. I don't know how much as you remember.
Not that much, because it's, again, a lot of years since I watched the movie, but I do remember that she was horrible.
Yeah, but what she did, she was involved in what Jack Nicholson's character ended up with a lobotomy by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And she was part for that as well. And for that reason alone, I put her in there in that little list. If you ever was going to be in a hospital with NHS, you wouldn't want to come across her. I'd tell you that for nothing. She was an evil piece of work.
Yeah, she definitely was.
Yeah. Do you want to say what one are you going to put in there?
All right, well, I'll go female as well. So I'm going to say Annie Wilkes.
And she is? Played
by Kathy Bates in the movie Misery.
I would have actually had her in my list, but I'm glad you've put her in there.
Yeah. So she, both in the book and the movie, she rescues Paul Sheldon after he breaks both of his legs in a car accident, takes him home to convalesce. She fawns over him as a writer of romance novels starring her favourite character, and generally, is psychologically, has psychological disorders and all sorts, doesn't she?
I think because I think it's what she actually does in the film probably puts her in that top 5 as such, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say it is.
Would you like to explain what she did to his legs?
Nailed them together.
Well, she put a block of wood between his ankles and then got a mallet and then basically broke both his ankles and his legs.
Yeah.
While he was wide awake.
Yeah. Nice. Well, at least he couldn't run off.
No, he couldn't, could he?
Because there was sort of like, there was a few films like that, because like Boxing Elena, wasn't there? Wasn't that where a woman had her arms and her legs chopped off? Do you remember rightly? I never actually saw the film, but I'd heard and I just thought, it doesn't sound like my sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there's been a few quite gross films like that.
Oh, God, yeah.
I must admit, though, maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I thought that she'd nailed his ankles to the wood.
No, what she did was she used that as a battering ram because she put it between the two ankles, so where his legs were, and then against the wood with the feet to break them.
Yeah.
So she was using it as a pivot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd forgot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why I was thinking that she'd nailed them to it, but no, it was just to break them. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, and not only that, but she didn't look nice either, did she?
No, not at all.
No.
But she was a fantastic character, a great movie.
Yeah.
Against
definitely.
Another Stephen King movie.
Yes, well, master of it, isn't he?
He certainly was. I'm going to put the next I'm going to talk about briefly is Anthony Perkins' character,
Norman Bates.
Yes, and I can still watch Psycho. It's 1960, so it's fairly old now. But I think he just took he was able to bring that character to life with the twist on it from being so obsessed with his mother that he would, thinking that she was alive, that he would do anything that she asked him to.
Mm.
And actually, I haven't watched Psycho 2 in a long time, but that isn't a bad movie.
Have I seen Psycho 2? I've seen Psycho, but I don't know if
there is 3 or 4 in total, I think.
There's also Bates Motel, isn't there?
Which I never got to grips with that, even though because we're looking at Norman Bates as a teenager.
Yeah.
And he's living with his mum.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how far that took it.
Mm.
So whether or not we get to see, I think the series has come to a close. I don't know if it's one that was cancelled maybe a season or 2 ago.
Yeah.
But whether or not it took us to that point of where his mum was dead.
Probably.
Which would have been
I never saw it. I never watched it myself. But
yeah, but it would have been great to watch maybe the last 1 or 2 episodes, which then lead you on to the point of fact that you're seeing him looking after the motel with his mum's dead, sitting in the chair in the house.
Yeah.
Probably regretting killing her, if anything, if he did.
Mm.
And then seeing that, the story which comes on from that with the shower scene and Alfred Hitchcock doing what he does best.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, good old Alfred Hitchcock.
Classic, he is absolutely classic.
Mm, definitely.
So, what do you want to chuck in there?
Well, if I went, hello, Clarice.
I thought, so this is not a top 5, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I love the character, the whole idea of somebody who is a doctor, who's a highly intelligent man, and yet does what he does, and it'll never escape me the bit where he's, chopped the guy's top of his head off, and he's slicing off bits of his brain and cooking it, and the guy's going, "Ooh, that smells lovely," and then feeds it to him.
Yeah, no, because it was the guy. I can't think of the guy's name.
Anthony Hopkins.
No, not Anthony Hopkins. I'm thinking of the guy that had his head sliced open.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because I think it was in Goodfellas, wasn't he, or something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And I think at the time when this came out, we were into a very big part of pirating videos at the time, weren't we?
Yes.
And this was like one of the big ones that was pirated.
Yeah.
On VCR.
Yeah, and let's face it, Anthony Hopkins, he's marvellous in whatever he does. I mean, he could go on to the Phantom Menace and make Jar Jar Binks look good.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I do have Silence of the Lambs, and I do have Hannibal.
Yeah,
which is the second story,
which
I love that one as well. That is the way he decided to spill the guts of the police officer out onto the streets of either Florence or Venice. I think it was Florence, maybe.
Yeah,
and just the way his mannerisms of he is, and he sits there and he gets that. I think the police officer Patsy, I think his name was.
Yeah, and
he straps him to that sort of chair with wheels, and he says, "Okie dokie, let's get you out here." Then he's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and he can suddenly he comes over as a very camp character.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, he can just turn to such an evil son of a bitch.
Yeah, but also so savage as well.
God, yeah. I mean, even in the first film, when he had when he escaped from the incarceration, that he had him in that big sort of jail in the box, and he obviously took the guy's face off to put over him to sneak out on the ambulance. Yeah,
it was it's an amazing film. And Jodie Foster was really good in it as well.
Yeah, she did really well. I think Anthony Hopkins, didn't he regret this role at a certain point?
I think he did, yeah, if I remember rightly. I think it was, because wasn't he starting to get a bit typecast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously there was a third movie called Red Dragon.
Yes.
Which originally was a book before Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
Which then was an original film called Manhunter, which was the original one before, which came out years ago.
Yeah.
But just thoroughly great, really. I think I'll tell you a film you need to look at. There's a film called Magic with Anthony Hopkins.
Right.
Where he's a ventriloquist, but his dummy comes to life.
Okay.
So check that one out. Again, he's brilliant.
I will. I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, I think it was sort of mid-70s that film came out.
Yeah.
I think it was. If I just have a quick look on the best place in ever to look for anything, so I just quickly type that in. 1978 it came out.
Well, that's a long time ago.
And Burgess Meredith was in that as well, if you remember him.
Kind of.
He was in the Rocky movies.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the cast list there. Oh, yeah, God, there's quite a few people in that. 1978. It's now classed as a 15. Just over an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So give that one a shout.
I will do.
Your
next one?
I think you have to have Hans Gruber in this list.
Do you know, I was thinking about Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
Because, it's never Christmas until you've seen Hans Gruber being kicked off the Yamamoto Towers, is it? But... Because we all know that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
We can have this debate to be blue in the face, and some people won't agree with us, maybe. But
yeah, but we can't help that they're wrong.
But actually, Alan Rickman's character is so cool.
Yeah,
and he makes me laugh at the same time. But he's trying to be a bad villain, operating a heist in the Nakatomi Tower.
That's it.
You can't say it very well there. And I don't know how I'd like to put this, but to be honest, I would like to put Simon Gruber in with him at the same time.
Yes, from the third one, Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah, who was a bit of a stutterer, bless him.
Yes. Played by Jeremy Irons.
He was, yeah. You don't see him very often in movies, do you, these days?
Well, Batman. Justice League. He's in that.
And he did some drama back in the day on the BBC.
Yeah, what was it? Is it Brideshead Revisited?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I would have loved to have seen those two guys together.
Yeah.
I think that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, it would have been.
I mean, we could talk about these sort of characters to the time in a moment. But yeah, no, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Who do you want to put on the list?
I'm going to say the Joker.
Which version?
Heath Ledger's.
Yeah.
Because he played it. He got that character. He got that character perfectly. The way that he played the role was that the Joker's only interest was chaos, and money didn't matter to him or anything. And that whole bit of, I'm going to show you how I'm going to make this pencil disappear. And then he bangs that guy's head into the table and the pencil goes into his eye. You know, and right the way through everything. And I love the fact that the bit where he's dressed as a nurse and he walks out of the hospital. Yeah,
at the very beginning of the movie, yeah?
No, later on.
Oh, no, sorry, yeah, it's probably a little bit later, yeah.
And he's pressing the button to go and it doesn't go off. That was actually real. That didn't work. And then it was a delay in the explosions. Yeah. But he still went with it because obviously he could only do it in one take because they actually blew up an old hospital to do that.
And it
was one that was getting knocked down. So, yeah, you can only do that once. Couldn't have to have digitally recreated it. So, and I think it just goes to say about how much of a good actor he was, but he completely owned that character.
Yeah.
And he made, when you look at Jack Nicholson, who also played the Joker, and he's an incredible actor, but the Joker had always been camp up until that point. And Heath Ledger made him believable.
Yeah.
There was that whole twist of, about the smile and how he had a different story for everybody he told about why he's always smiling. And I just think he did an incredibly good job of making that character three-dimensional, which has normally been quite two-dimensional.
Yeah.
So that version of the Joker for me was one of the best villains.
Okay. What are we up to now? We're up to 4 or 5?
That was was it 4th?
Okay.
I think. Let's see. I did Annie Wilkes, Hannibal Lecter. No, that was my 3rd.
Okay. So mine's 4th. So quickly moving on because time's getting away with us.
Yep, I haven't got the questions to do.
Jack Torrance. God, dear, my missus actually made me jump then. She's tapping on the window outside. I know, yeah. I've got closed curtains. All right. God, dear, they don't give any rest, do they?
No, they don't.
Jack Torrance, Jack Nicholson's character in The Shining.
Yes. And
do apologise what I'm doing this at the same time, but such a mild-mannered guy that's doing a job looking after a hotel.
Yeah.
And then at one point turns into this character that's totally obsessed with the murder in the hotel and what goes on, And I think it's brilliant. Just such a great character.
Yeah.
And obviously well acted by Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
And gets his demise when he's a frozen popsicle in the maze at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you've seen Ready Player One, guys, you might know who this is. Because that was a part of the story of in the movie.
Oh, definitely.
Brilliant film.
Yeah.
Again, I think Stephen King gets a big shout out here for lots we're talking about at the minute.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Your next one?
My next one is The Terminator.
Yeah, so the original Terminator was a bad guy.
He was.
And a badass at that.
Yeah, relentless.
Yeah.
And I suppose you could say any of the Terminators, to be honest, because the one from Terminator 2, he was just as badass.
Yeah.
And he had the really cool ability to do all the morphing and whatever, but just thinking about when the first time I watched The Terminator, which was about, I'd have been, about 15, watching 18 movies, and I watched it and it creeped me the hell out because I just thought there was something in me that just said one day if we mess about with AI too much, this could be where we'd end up.
Yeah.
Not with going back in time or anything, but
No.
know, the whole sort of dystopian future, which, once machines get to be intelligent and control everything, and then look at what we've done to the planet and what we continue to do to the planet and to each other, the logical conclusion is actually we are the enemy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that to me, it paints a very stylized vision of the future, which is very far away from things like Star Trek. And I just think the Terminator was such a marvelous, relentless character, and just the way that he, walked into that police station, said, Sarah Connor. And then I'll be back, and he walks out, and then he comes back in, drives through the reception desk, and
with a
shoots
big vehicle.
everybody. Yeah, and it's just just the relentless way that he walked down there and getting shot and everything is just brilliant. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one more that I can pick out. It's not easy. But I think I'm going to go for, theoretically, maybe in the real world as such. So I'm going to go to the Godfather films, and I suppose it's more Al Pacino because he took the mantle from when Marlon Brando's character died in it. So I'm going for Michael Corleone, and you don't mess with this dude. You can be related, you could be his brother, but if you step out of line, you're swimming with the fishies, as we would say. A brilliant character. Al Pacino, I think this is really what kickstarted Al Pacino's career.
Yeah,
as far as I can remember, and one of the best gangster movie series ever for me. And seeing Michael Corleone being that much against the people that helped put his father, who eventually passed away. And he goes into that police. He said, I want to kill the cop. I want to do the job. So they tape this handgun into a toilet at this Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
And you think he would not flinch at this, but he goes to say, he's chatting to these guys in Italian, talking about the do's and don'ts of where we're trying to go with all the gangs in Chicago and everything else, whatever. And he goes to the toilet, picks out that 45, and just pops the guys there and then, and walks out without a flinch. And again, he even kills one of his own for being a traitor.
Yeah,
and he kills him in a boat out by their home. Brilliant character, a great actor as well, who's done many roles over the years in that sort of vein, with stuff like Scarface in the day. Yeah, superb for me. What would you like to pick off? One more.
Well, I'm not going to go with the one that I would say would be the best villain of all time.
Well, I was waiting for this. Go on.
So I'm not going to go with Darth Vader, okay?
No, okay.
But what I am going to do, if I said, Khan!
No, yeah. I'm glad you put him in there, because we've done sort of 10 here. So, the best Star Trek movie ever.
Yeah, absolutely. But,
and probably one of the best villains in Star Trek.
Oh, absolutely the best villain. And I'm talking about Ricardo Montalban's version. I'm not talking about Benedict Cumberbatch. Because, to be honest, I love Benedict Cumberbatch. He was a poor second place, to be honest. It was there's just something altogether classic about the original Khan.
Yeah.
And, where he's, said, with my last breath I spit at thee. All of that at the end of the film.
Well, that line, which I will try and recreate it as best I can, but he tasks me.
I shall have him.
Yeah, I shall have him. I will travel on the moons of Nibia and round the shell throne before I give him up.
Yeah.
Just brilliant. And he's such a great actor, that guy.
Oh, he is. He's absolutely fantastic actor. And evidently that was his real chest on the Wrath of Khan. It was, because for years I thought it was a bit of plastic that was stuck under.
Oh, they just strapped to him and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely class. And check him out in the third Planet of the Apes movie.
Yes.
In the originals. Plays the guy that looks after the circus that takes Caesar.
Yeah.
But he's just class, and what could be said more?
No, but I mean, I don't think you can. He was a brilliant bad guy. He's super intelligent, super strong, but didn't think in 3 dimensions.
No, not at all. Should we quickly go through this because Tommy's really running away with us. So
all right. So Ryan Howe said Jack Torrance. Also Killmonger and Thanos as well.
Multiple videos that match your request.
Thank you, Alex.
Nicky Wilson has gone for Hans Gruber.
Yep. Craig Cole has gone for Damien Thorne.
But he's not got the original there, so
no, he's got the remake.
The remake. Justin Lee's always loved Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep. Michael Edwards has gone for Richard Burton playing Vic Darkin in Villain.
Andrew Kirk. I can't even see what he's gone for then.
No.
I do apologise.
No, I'm not sure what he's gone for there. Sorry, either.
Tom Warren's gone for Thanos.
Yep. Paul Wilson has said Ricardo Montalban, and the end scene, which Spot so heroically passes, makes me cry every time. Amazing.
Well, I actually played Amazing Grace to my mother-in-law today, and it has a special meaning for her. But when I put it on, I was thinking about it. So it just brings a tear and wells me up.
Yeah.
Terrible. Ian Hamilton's gone for B. Mitchell, King of Kong. Okay. I think that's due to his cheating that was going on there.
Yeah. Mark Houston has gone for Vader.
Andrew Elmsley has gone for... Who's that? Russell Crowe in Gladiator?
It was the Emperor.
Yeah.
Who killed
okay.
Russell Crowe's family.
Yeah, I've seen it now.
Yeah. Anthony Pittman's gone Vader.
Mark Tudor, I don't think you cut and pasted that, right?
I think I must have accidentally deleted the picture.
Yeah. Matthew Smalley, best favourite villain, Alan Rickman in Prince of Thieves. Very dandy character that was.
Yeah, I'll find what you call it. Do you want to just go on to the next one?
Right, the next one there, I don't think actually is in there. Can you see it? I mean, Kwan's gone for...
he's put it in the next thing. He didn't put it... Yeah.
So you got... Kwan's gone for the dude who was fighting Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon. He's called him the Razor Blade guy.
Yeah. Actually, Mark, your picture didn't actually go in, so that's why we can't say what that picture was. And actually, Andrew Kirk, your one didn't go in either. That's why they're not there. So Stephen Miles said Hell 9000.
Yep. And Summer Gray's gone for Darth Vader.
Yep. And he's also mentioned a few others, though, hasn't he? Because he's actually said about General Zod et al. From the Superman 2. And a couple of other characters I don't recognise, but one of them is the bad guy from Highlander. Yeah,
and you've got someone there. You've got the guy, there from Commando. But I think that was him. That guy there. That was when he was in Warriors, from what I can remember. Yeah. So do apologise for that. Yeah, some of the pictures haven't come through, but anyway, thank you for your feedback on that. So we've all got lots of different favourite ones, but obviously there's some ones where we all agree, or some of us agree. Okay, so swiftly moving on, we're going to the listener questions.
John, what's happening to us?
Okay, so let's start with Mark first of all, and his first question. Playing a game on easy difficulty, it's good to enjoy the story in the minimum amount of time. Do you agree? No, because sometimes games are a little bit too easy. You know, it's like, I can understand if maybe, you were streaming and not very good at games and, you know, you wanted to just do it that way, you know, because you wanted to not bore people with the amount of times that you died. Yeah. I can understand you maybe going along that sort of approach. But for playing it normally, you know, as in within your house, you spent so much for the game, why would you just skim through the whole of the campaign so quickly? Well, I suppose it's games like Wolfenstein that I think most people played on the easiest level there, didn't they? Because that was tough. Yeah, I mean, obviously it depends upon the level of difficulty of some games as well, because some games are just, you know, and unless you're a pro gamer, you know, as in actually earning money, you're never going to get to some of the top levels. Yeah. But for me, for example, if it's Call of Duty, historically I've always gone to veteran level straight off.
and done it that way rather than play on the normal levels. But maybe I'm getting old, but now I just go straight on normal. I mean, I've started playing Hellblade, and because I've completed that on the PC, I'm now doing that on hard level on the Xbox.
Yeah, there's not many games I've done that to. I mean, I've done some sort of like insane level in some of the Resident Evils at the past. I've done that, but yeah, I think if it's either on normal or one above, just depends.
Yeah, depends upon how hard normal is, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah, I mean, not every game's the same for that. And there's been times, if you remember, like in a game like Mass Effect, where I remember for some reason just dropping it down a level to beat one of the mini bosses in the game.
Yeah.
Then putting it back up again, because it just was a bit of a pain.
But you didn't get the achievement for completing it on whatever level there, did you?
I don't remember now. If I did, it was probably Mass Effect 1, I think it was, I was thinking about. But that's neither here nor there for me. Achievements don't mean anything to me, do they? So,
No, they don't, unless, of course, your score's higher than me, then suddenly they mean a lot to you.
Oh, yeah, but being a multiplayer player, that's why they don't get so many achievements these days. But when the new games come out,
Yeah, well, when State of Decay 2 comes out, because that seems to be one that churns out achievements quite quickly.
Oh, good, we can cane a few of those then.
Yeah, definitely. And we need to play that multiplayer as well.
Yeah, we need to give it a whirl.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I think we've... So, you could do question 2, yeah.
Okay, so what has been the biggest setup between console generations since you've been a gamer?
Do you mean step up?
Oh, step up. Sorry, not set up. Again, I should put my glasses on.
I tell you what, one of the biggest step up was first getting HD.
Yeah, I would say between the PS2 original Xbox to Xbox 360 PS3 era.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I did this, I was playing one of the Tiger Woods games.
Yeah.
And I could actually read what was on the screen. It was like wiping that smear of gel off the TV and suddenly you can actually read it. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, yeah. I think that was a marked difference, and the length of that console generation tells you that as well.
Yeah.
But I think there's another one where there was a quantum leap, as it were, and that is from what was before the PS1 to the PS1. You know, that whole jumping up to disc for the games rather than cartridges, and how the games evolved as a result. Yeah,
but I gotta say this, right? I know we've not really mentioned it, but there was that wedding on at the weekend, just gone.
Oh yeah, yes, some Meghan and Harry people.
Anyway, we got back in. The missus came in. She put the TV on just to have a little nose. We've been out all morning.
Yeah.
I looked in and I went, what are you watching that on? Because it was a dreadful picture. She went, no, it's fine, don't touch it. I went, hold on a minute. So I went to Sky, went to UHD, and it's like you're sitting with them.
Yeah.
Is that crystal? And she went, so don't you see the difference? She went, no. I thought, you just had new glasses.
Do you know what? My wife is exactly the same. I could stick her in front of a standard definition picture and a 4K picture, and she would still not notice any difference.
Yeah. I said, look, can't you see the ornate of that church and how it looked? Don't you just see how, look at the people, they're just like, you can see them, you know?
Yeah. But do you remember years ago when HD first came out, we used to say exactly the same thing about the difference between SD and HD?
Yeah, no, we did. And, actually, even when I've said, what do you reckon to that Dolby Vision then? She goes, what's that? I went, okay, don't worry about it.
There are some times when you're fighting against a lost cause. I mean, it's like, I've got a Dolby Digital surround sound system in the living room.
Yeah.
Had it there all the time when we've been married. Very rarely use it because my wife goes, oh, it's too loud. And it's sort of like, yeah, it's 100 watts, 150 watts per channel. It kicks out.
It's like it's the bass. I'm sure there's something wrong with their ears for bass. She went, oh, that's interfering with my ears. I think, well, that's just a bit of a rumble. No, I don't like that. Oh, freaking it. So, yeah, whatever.
I mean, I was what was it I was watching? Oh, Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Right? And I was watching it upstairs on my 4K TV upstairs, yeah?
Sure.
Quite happily watching it. It wasn't on loud. The sound was only on like 12 out of 100. Yeah. So it's like really quiet. My wife comes in and she says, oh, that telly's loud. What are you watching? I said, Escape from New York. And I said, and also all movies have loud bits. So my wife, I'm not kidding you, she is phonophobic. Unless, of course, it was blaring out Coronation Street or Emmerdale, in which case it can be as loud as you like.
Yeah, because it's funny, because in the lounge we use a Skybox.
Yeah.
And what actually happens is, if we're watching sort of regular Sky, so watching Sky when we're watching, say, Modern Fan, for example.
Yeah.
So I've got it pretty loud because you're listening to the people. The adverts come and it goes really quiet. And I've not tricked her yet. So she say, "Oh, that's quiet," but she's not even said notice that it goes really quiet. And then as soon as the advert finishes, it goes back up to the regular sound again. She doesn't get it.
No, I mean, what did amuse me actually is my wife's got a friend called Paula, and she invited Paula round, and she was grumbling about the surround sound system. And this is back in the days when I was using Laserdisc as well. So she turned around to me and said, "Oh, you put it on a normal volume that you like it on, and then just play it, and Paula can see how ridiculous you like the sound on. I'm sure you're deaf." Sort of thing. So I put it on, played it. She said that's not loud enough, and she turned it up. I just, good old Paula, can guarantee on her doing something like that. Absolutely, I was just cracking up with laughter. Yeah. And I just said, "It's you're phonophobic." That's what it is. Anyway,
we better crack on. If we move to have we got one more? We
got one Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, we have. So Gareth Cutliff, he says here, when was the first time you were shocked in a video game? Something that scared you or you weren't expecting it? Can you think of anything?
It's not... Yeah, I suppose it is shocked because it was more repulsed, if I'm to be honest. Now, in terms of violence in video games...
Yeah, are you going to talk about Call of Duty by any chance?
No, I'm not actually. I'm not, because I know a lot of people, but that to me, that just didn't scare me at all. I didn't notice it. But it was actually Homeland Revolution. You know, the latest Homeland... Well, Homefront.
The one that was pantsed, that was... really.
Well, they were both panned, weren't they? But the second one, yeah,
okay. Yeah.
And it was shocked in a revolted sort of way, but it depicted scenes of torture with a guy with a hammer, and obviously because the graphics are a little bit stepped. I was watching it, I was thinking that is just plain nasty. Do you know what I mean? Because being hit over the head with a hammer and a whole hammer-sized hole appearing, it doesn't bother me at all when if I watched a film like that. No. But because it was in a video game, I just thought that's a little bit beyond the pale for normal video games. But normally, it really doesn't faze me at all. But it was just that moment of, oh, do you know what I mean? It was that like that.
Yeah. For me, I think probably Resident Evil 2, I remember very well. Because there was times when you play at that for the first time and you're walking down the corridor and the dogs jump through the windows.
Yeah.
That I think I was clinging to the ceiling when that happened. Just didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And it's little moments in that game like that. There's quite a few.
Well, I mean, like I say, a lot of people said about Until Dawn, didn't they, with the jump scares in that. But to me, Until Dawn, while it's a brilliant game, is very much your typical sort of teeny horror suspense.
No, exactly. I mean,
game.
If you go back to a horror film, the teen / jump scare movies of today aren't as jump scary as they were 20 years ago.
Oh, heck. I mean, when you look at Evil Dead and things like that,
I mean, for Christ's sake, that tree raped her.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? But, it's... I mean, I do like... I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like the Final Destination movies and stuff like that, and, all good fun.
Yeah. I have to admit, though, that scene where the tree raped her gives a whole new meaning to having wood.
Does, doesn't it? Or, no, actually, it's twig.
I'm sure we'll get some stick for that.
It wasn't very thick, was it?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some stick for it, but don't worry.
Okay.
Either that or people think we're barking.
Oh, shut up. Right, Facebook, your turn.
Okay, so Michael Edwards says, to get a platinum achievement for Far Cry 5, I need to play online, which means I have to pay for PlayStation Plus. I think this is holding gamers to ransom. Have you ever paid out hard cash to obtain achievements? Or trophies, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that is a little bit wrong, isn't it?
Well, is it because any game that requires you to play online with other people...
I mean, Destiny's got it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest, I think that nowadays it's
standard thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's for example, you can say the same thing about Destiny with the raids.
Yeah.
I don't do the raids, so therefore I'm not going to get that achievement ever unless I go do the raid, and I don't want to do the raid.
I'm
happy with the with the rest.
Yeah, but it's just like, I mean, I think what happened is the way online worked, and after a little while, these online achievements started to creep in.
Yeah.
And just the norm, really, you don't really think much more of it.
So have you ever paid to get an achievement, as it were? And have you ever done anything that has required you to buy money to get achievements? I suppose buying
the game is, isn't it?
No, I think that what Michael's getting at is about have you actually, in order so you can unlock an achievement, you have paid money in some sort of way.
I'm trying to think if there was an achievement for any sort of having a bit of armour on or something, or maybe, do you know what I mean? Something like that where you needed to either earn that piece of armour or have to pay for it.
Pay to win. That's a whole other argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Belgium have banned it now, haven't they? Because they've said it's a no-no in their gambling laws, but...
yeah.
I can't really think of anything, to be honest.
I can think of one where it's not so much intentionally paid to get an achievement, but more coincidental. And I think that this is much worse than having to buy Plus to get a trophy. You know, I think the example I'm thinking of is Rainbow Six Vegas, where you had to get one of the achievements was unlocked by you using a Microsoft camera to make a representation of yourself in the game.
Yeah.
And you could only get that if you had the camera. And I think there was a similar achievement on Burnout Paradise, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, what you could do, well, there was, at the time we used to have that little 360 camera, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Which made Uno into a new different game altogether.
Yeah, made Uno into Nudo.
Yeah, and so you could have your picture on the license.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. So there's been a few examples, but you know, I've managed to do it because I've already had the equipment, not because I've gone and bought the equipment for getting those achievements.
Yeah.
Because while I am quite sad at chasing achievements, I realise this: I am not that sad.
Okay, I'm not saying anything. We'll let the community think about that. So,
okay.
Anyway.
Well, what about you? You can't think of anything.
I can't. I mean, some really funny achievements like push start. I think it's an easy achievement to get. Like you just push start and it gives you it, doesn't it? You know, like, I think it was a Simpsons game or something.
All right, here's a question for you then. Did you buy Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No.
Did you get those achievements?
No, I did not. Actually, I'm very proud to say that I didn't. And you can look on my gamer tag and see that I've never played that game.
Yeah, well, we know that you changed your gamer tag.
Mine's been I've not changed mine. It's been there for 13 years now. Okay.
Yeah. What gets me is the way that they measure it, though, is how long you've been subscribed to Gold, not how long you've had that gamer tag, because I've had my gamer tag for longer than what it says on the thing.
But you've had a break in the...
Yeah, because I wasn't playing online, and it was pre-Games with Gold and stuff like that, so I just let my thing lapse, and then I suddenly picked up playing Burnout Paradise, and, you know, had it all the time, more or less, after that.
Yeah, yeah.
So... yeah, that's that. I think that's a bit wrong for them measuring it in that way.
Yeah,
you have a silver membership, if not a gold membership.
Isn't that the same? You know that Sky Rewards thing.
Yeah,
that's exactly the same.
Yeah,
for that, you know. But yeah, I think I am 13 years. Let's have a look. Yeah, at the moment as it stands, 13 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, isn't it?
Well, I mean, to be honest, a lot of the time I didn't have the ability to connect to Xbox Live because you had to use a local area network, and I was on dial-up for ages because we just couldn't get broadband even.
Yeah, I was in a farmhouse at one point, and I had ADSL. Just about squeeze that out, I tell you.
Yeah.
But okay, so Mark Tudor's question, he says here, do you guys have a favourite funny movie you keep going back to over the years? He comes back and says, I love Mike Myers' sense of humour, and so I go back to the I Married an Ex-Murderer, and it has served me well over to the past 25 years.
It is a good film, is that? I mean,
I can think of a couple straight off the bat, to be honest. The first one is going to be Uncle Buck.
Yep. Hi, my name's Buck Melanoma.
Oh, that's great. And the other one is Groundhog Day.
Yeah, both good movies.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I could probably say another one is probably Brewster's Millions. Beverly Hills Cop, the first one.
Yeah.
Trading Places.
Classic film.
You know, you know the script off by heart.
Yeah.
But to Mrs. R, she said she said to me the other day, I just turned TV on and Star Trek 2 was on, as in Wrath of Khan. I started reading the script before they were saying it. She looked at me.
Yeah, I have to admit that I do exactly the same thing with the original Star Wars movie, and Adam just like looks at me in awe how I can remember every.
Yeah, they sort of tut at you, sort of thing. I said, I just watched it so many times. That's all.
Yeah.
So, what can you think of anyway?
For me, it would be Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Austin Powers movies.
Yeah.
As well as that, I would say Wayne's World.
Yeah, that's another good one. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are like the standout ones.
I think
for me.
I could add them to my. I think I could add them to my list.
Yeah, and I would add the ones that you've said to mine as well.
You know. Yeah.
But I mean, I can't watch it now, but I used to love Blazing Saddles.
Well, there's a few 70s movies. You know, when you think of Gene Wilder and what's his name? Something has gone up my head all of a sudden. Richard Pryor. Yeah, they're all their movies. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they're both brilliant comedians, aren't they? Or they were now.
Yeah. So
obviously neither of them are with us anymore, but it's just some of those films, you know, it's like, I love Mel Brooks, like Spaceballs.
Do you know what? That probably, out of all the films I've seen over the years, that one doesn't mean a lot to me.
Does it not?
I'd say it's a Star Wars rip-off, and but I love Mel Brooks, normally, you know?
Yeah, but...
You want to watch History of the World Part 1?
I have.
That's classic, that one. Absolutely classic.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many good comedies, but for me, my favourite comedy is Shaun of the Dead. In terms of movies, I just absolutely.
Well, see that one there. I think I know the soundtrack off by heart. It's funny when if I play that, I know which one's next.
Yeah.
And again, that script is, you know, brilliant. Really, really good.
Yeah. Well, Simon Pegg's always good in everything he does, isn't he?
Yeah. I've watched a lot of Pop Fuzz Keep recently. I seem to be seeing that a lot.
Yeah, these things seem to go through seasons. Obviously, there are there's a whole Cornetto trilogy, isn't there? Because there's World's End, but the last one was not
poor in comparison.
Yeah, very poor in comparison.
Yeah. So
okay. So should we do Justin Lee?
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the leaked E3 schedule that did the rounds the other day? Will this ruin the conferences for you, or are you not bothered about it being spoiled?
I've sort of tend to look away. I have seen some snippets that have just popped up, unfortunately, as they do. I mean, if you're going to do a bit of a lockdown on the internet from about now onwards, otherwise, you're going to come across it.
Yeah, of course you are.
But I'm taking it with a pinch of salt until I see what's actually written and it's out there on the screen.
Yeah.
It's all conjecture, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, for me, it doesn't spoil it to me, because even if the list is exactly right, then I know what I'm looking for. So, you know, it's like I can say, well, you know, let's say we get halfway through the Sony presentation, I'm thinking, I'm not seeing anything that I want. But if I know Sony are going to be releasing a specific game that I want to see, I might continue watching it for longer if I wanted to go and do something else. You know what I mean? So, and to be honest, all that you're knowing is the titles of the games that are coming out. It doesn't tell you how good the game is, what it looks like, and you know how many.
I think there's going to be some, as much as like, I think I did hear someone say that like, you can sort of see what the press conference is from Microsoft, for example, and it's got the list of games.
Yeah.
I believe that some of that will not be correct, because there's going to be some surprises that nobody knows except for maybe Major Nelson and possibly, you know, the top people that were involved in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, same as the way that when they first brought out that back compat, no one knew about that. That was nowhere. That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I hope we do get something similar to that we, you know, next thing we get.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
And Microsoft like doing that sort of thing generally, whereas Sony don't. Sony don't seem to go
they
for
tell
that.
they tell you everything up front, but say, here's a snippet, we're not going to tell you when it comes out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Neil McBain, he says here that what band that everyone seems to love do you hate?
Band. That's a good question. I'm just trying to think of what his name is, because there's just...
I mean, if you go down what, say, I mean, we say this as if we're old gits, but probably what, say, 16, 17-year-olds listen to, some of that we probably would detest to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Or even, say, the 13 and 14-year-olds listen to One Direction, for example.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of anything that's sort of like music-wise, most of the time you would say anything that was released after a certain decade, basically.
It's funny, but then again, as you know, I've got a bit of a respect for Take That, for example, and they knock it out of the park every time.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran as well is pretty good.
Do you know what? He was the person I was thinking of. I cannot stand him. There is something about his face I just want to put my fist through.
It's because he's ginger.
I don't mind ginger. I don't mind ginger at all, but there is just something about him.
If he's a female, you don't mind. But
I can't stand the guy at all. And when he was on Game of Thrones, I nearly switched it off.
Yeah, but I say, some of his stuff's all right. But then again, there's people I know that I really like Coldplay, and some people just don't like them.
Coldplay, to be honest, if I'm to be honest, either I like music or I am just not bothered about it at all. And for me, a lot of the music that I like is up until the late 90s, and then after that, kind of like music took a less important point in my life. I
had this argument with the missus, right? Because I sometimes watch BBC 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually watch it as a channel, not a radio station. And they had some David Bowie stuff on over the last few days.
Now, there's an example. I don't like David Bowie, actually.
He's a star man, as actually the song goes.
He might be. And, he's got a lot of good songs, but I don't like David Bowie. There's just something about him, he's never appealed to me. When he did Under Pressure with Queen was about as good as he got, and that was only because it was Queen that he did it with. But I have I like a wide range of music. But
mine is as wide as it can be.
Yeah, I mean, I like Queen. Queen are my favourite group, but I also like the Pet Shop Boys, as well, which is pretty much quite the opposite end of the curve from Queen. But there's lots of artists that I like. I don't mind Michael Jackson. I don't mind Take That. I don't mind listening to the Spice Girls. I used to listen to a lot of Madonna. All of the normal ones that you would expect. Then I like some more obscure groups like Enigma. Yeah,
right. I really go deep in music, as you know. And I've been like Sex Pistols to anything. There's some bands I've watched that are punk bands that you wouldn't play that music in earshot of a lot of people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then again, I love the electro pop of the 80s.
Yeah.
When I was 16.
Yeah, and I was 11.
You was 11, and actually, because I'm going to see Human League in November.
Yeah, brilliant group. Brilliant group.
And supported by Major Bonus. So I'll be able to do my own version of Vienna, standing up loud with my arms in the air.
Oh, God. But I don't know, because I know that you listen to a lot of music, but to be honest, I don't. And, I've gone off and I do other stuff, like, for example, I'm listening to podcasts and stuff like that in the car. Or audiobooks. I don't tend to listen to music as much. But when I do, I enjoy it. I
get a break from it. Sometimes when you listen to so much podcast and gaming, you want to just get away from it.
Yeah, and I do that sometimes, but not as often as I feel like I should. And to be honest, I tend to have a playlist, because on my car, I've got SD drives to read music, and I've got, like a 256 gig SD card in the car. No, it's not. It's much less than that. It's about 32. Sorry, not 256. And I've just got it filled with all of the music that I like, and I just end up listening to that. But then, for example, I'll go and see a film and listen to a bit of music that I'd have heard before, but it's never really registered on my radar. So, like, for example, some of the music from the Guardians of the Galaxy's music, I play it all the time now, because, I just love this.
Yeah, because I was on the album I got for the second the second film.
Yeah.
I've got the soundtrack and also the various artists.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did pick up today, actually. Yes, it's not Sunday, by the way, if you're wondering, because it's now Monday. I picked up the various artists double album for Stranger Things.
Nice.
And there's a wide range of various artists as such on that.
Yeah. From
Devo to The Police to The Clash, to Cyndi Lauper to The Scorpions, Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
New Order, Joy Division. Classic tracks.
Great The Police, brilliant group, you know, Every Breath You Take and that. And a matter of fact, I've said to my wife, if I die before she does, that when my coffin is being wheeled out of the church, I want Every Breath You Take to be played, because I want to creep the hell out of everybody in the church because of the line of I'll be watching you.
Do you know what I've always fancied doing? I don't know where I saw this, but I know we go really off topic, but we haven't got much more to do now. But I've always fancied recording a video clip and put it on the CD.
Yeah.
And then so if you're watching this, I'm dead.
Do you will like that?
Yeah, you know. And here's my list of tracks I want you to play at the funeral. Makes it easy for you, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
But anyway, last question.
Yeah.
So we've got Andrew Emsley, and he's asking us, who's better, Hulk Hogan or The Ultimate Warrior?
Do you have a preference?
No, but I would probably say Hulk Hogan.
So would I. I like Hulk Hogan.
Because he's a good fellow.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think who. Yeah, definitely Hulk Hogan.
Because Hulk Hogan had a fight with Sylvester Stallone, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
In Rocky 3.
But he's also been in quite a lot of funny movies as well.
Oh, he's had himself really sort of taking a mick out of him to a certain degree.
Yeah. Well, he does a parody of himself all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
But but I must admit I was never really a big I've never been a big WWF fan.
No, it's something that really become famous sort of mid 80s, 85, something like that.
Yeah.
But for me, I thought, nah.
Yeah, because I don't know whether or not do you ever used to remember watching wrestling on a Saturday afternoon on ITV?
I did see it. I remember as a kid sitting there with my granddad. He was having his tea.
Yeah. I used to watch that with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and all that.
That's it. I mean, you had all that, didn't you? And, you know, it's...
And that was the last time I ever really watched wrestling, to be honest. So, you know, a lot of the...
But then you had gladiators, didn't you? And stuff.
But that wasn't wrestling. That was more of a competition sort of thing.
That would just get out your jockey shorts and stuff a sock down the trousers, wasn't it? Sort of thing. Who's got the biggest sock?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're done, actually.
I do as well.
So, just to finish off, contact information for myself, Twitter @Steve07, PSN, my ID is TheRealSteve07, Xbox Steve07, email Steve07 @popculturegamers.co.uk. And Haydn?
Well, you can get my YouTube channel, which is Haydn Reese Jones, or you can get me on Twitter @HERJUK. There is also PSN, Xbox Live and Steam, HERJUK, also pretty similar for Battle.net as well. We have a Facebook group, so you can type in Pop Culture Gamers, come and join us in that group. We've got a good group of people in there. There's a couple of questions just to make sure that you're not a bot or somebody who's just trying to advertise free of charge in there, because we don't allow that sort of thing. But other than that, we also have our website, which is popculturegamers.podbean.com. And if you want to email about anything about the show, there's also podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk.
Many, many, many ways, as they say, to contact us.
Yes, there's a lot of ways, isn't there?
Anyway, so we'll wrap this up. So it's a good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.